Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your brother Abu Nas, and welcome to the fifth entry of the appreciation live stream of Star Wars. Right now, we are in still the original trilogy, and we are now finally at episode 5. Yes, the big daddy of them all. The one that changed everybody's lives and is considered a modern masterpiece in the effect that it is pretty much well regarded as the best Star Wars movie in the entire series. But Revenge of the Sith is creeping up there now. It's almost neck and neck. But we are so happy to have you here. We got a seriously EU eccentric panel to get us through the evening. To the left of me is the one and only Star Wars, OG Star Wars, the Legends Gal, Fatal J to the right. Below him is, of course, the voice of the Dark Council, Lord Callous himself, and extra special guest, Sporking News Podcast. Welcome, everybody. So how's everyone doing tonight?
Chilling.
Fantastic.
All right. Want to give a shout out to everybody that's in the chat right now. Before we get started, we got Batman, big fan, chilling. Tommy in the building, as always. Peter Colabucci, oh my man. Mark Krell is in the house too. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Lorena Cree, one of the queens in the house, trying to finish this up. Oh yes, the Empire Strikes Back is everybody's favorite. Everybody's. Mad Mama Bear in the building. Hello, my love. Oh man, Treya 95, Lori Roberts, another Brooklyn native like myself holding it down. Terminus EST, Blood Honey. Oh man, well, we got everybody popping it. Subhuman 84 rocking the spot. Shit. Oh, we really gonna be setting it off today. Philip Stephen 45, Jared Wingo, Apollo Patriot. Oh, my inspiration to YouTube, Stephanie Janicek, Smuggler's Cantina. Yes, you know what? My bad, Stephanie. As a matter of fact, Return of the Jedi is coming up, so I may have to bring you in here for the big Dukaroo finale. Benzo, what's going on, my brother? All right, now everybody. I just want to, because once I start this thing off, it's going to be full speed ahead. Empire Strikes Back is pretty much the movie that defined me, that pretty much the movie that inspired me, even though A New Hope, I was pretty much, 6-7 years old. So I was blown away, but I guess the context of being blown away at that young age really never hit me. But it was an experience I'll never forget. But Empire is the one that sealed the deal for me. You know what I'm saying? And I can't even begin to tell you how much that movie opened up my imagination, my whole world. And from what I have been reading and what I've been seeing, throughout the internet, throughout the years that I've been, studying how much The Empire Strikes Back made an impact to other people. And you got to understand, I mean, filmmakers, writers, you know what I'm saying? All over the industry, it was this movie that really sealed the deal and got people on board. Not like they wasn't on board with A New Hope, but it was something about The Empire Strikes Back, the darker turn that
elevated it.
It elevated exactly.
Yeah.
So let's just go through it, because like I said, we got 2 good hours to really go roughshod on this, and I have to try to stop in little intervals to bring everybody up to speed musically, what we was doing with this appreciation OT from this appreciation live stream from the start. All right, the crawl goes around. We come into Hoth and Luke Skywalker in all his glory, man. The hero that blew up the Death Star is on the Tauntaun, and he gets caught out there with the Wampa and that. And I'm gonna start with our lady first, OG. Now, you see Luke in the cave with the Wampa. Now, in my head, I'm still got the special edition of Empire Strikes Back in my head. I mean, with the complete saga that I got on my shelf, everything is special edition, narrative. So obviously they got, the Wampa all cleaned up a little bit and stuff, gave him a little bit more menace. But his first test was in that cave. And just by him, and this is one of the things that I always love about Luke, his journey. His
Yeah.
journey from farm boy to idealistic person that want to see more out of Tatooine. Same thing like Anakin wanted to get out there and see the world, see the galaxy, and
He
then he
wanted to
gets
see
there to get
every single star. He wanted to be a Sith.
Exactly.
every
Wanted to
single
see them
star.
all.
So OG, take me to your thoughts. It's him in that cave, just seeing how it literally just starts off getting into his zone.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back towards almost the beginning of this and lead up to the cave, and I'm gonna start with Han Solo because he's another important arc to Luke Skywalker's journey. And when you look at it, Luke Skywalker had the hero's journey, but when you look at Leia and Han, they also have their own version of the hero's journey within the OT as well.
Right.
And so what I'm getting at is that Han Solo was so stuck on, he was an honorable, respectful man, even though he was a scoundrel. And that's developed in the original EU. And so he was worried about paying off Jabba, but then when he realized his best friend didn't come back after he said he was going to go check out what had landed or what had crashed down onto Hoth, he was like, forget this shit, I'm going to go find him. And they're like, don't go out there, it's becoming night, you're going to freeze, basically. And so that sets his arc of being more of a respectable man. And I'm just only coming to this because I'm reviewing the Han Solo trilogy. And in that trilogy, he also states that he wanted to join the Empire because he wanted to be a respectable man. And then thinking back onto his life as a very young man being found by Shrike all the way up to the 19 years as he was in Han Solo trilogy, he also wanted a family and kids and stuff, foreshadowing stuff. And so this also feeds into his arc. And so then from there, he goes out to find Luke, and Luke is found in the cave. And what's so pivotal about that is that there's a huge gap between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. So when you see him trying to use the Force and still struggling to get that lightsaber out from the snow, you know that he has been training, he has been practicing. And then you also realize that there's that huge time gap between the movies. So that's, like a way of thinking, oh, he trained. We didn't see his training, but he trained in between that time period. And it's believable because there's such a huge time frame.
Right.
And
There's
so
also
go ahead.
They also filled that in with one novelization. So like if you had the Splinters of the Mind's Eye that actually filled in between, and you got to know that he did have, just like you're saying, that he did have training. So it wasn't like he just woke up and was trying, decided he could pull that damn lightsaber out of the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the beauty of the movie is that you don't even need to read the book to realize that.
Yeah.
You know from that moment, okay, he realized he had to calm his mind, calm himself down, because he knows it doesn't work if he's all stressed out, and then he gets it to him. There's so much that goes on in the first, I was just saying that before we started, the first 20 minutes of A New Hope is so set up that you don't even meet Luke for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But the first 20 minutes of this movie catches you up from the end of New Hope amazingly. I mean, you could tell there's been that sexual tension between Leia and Han. You could see Han still trying to play that, like you said, that scoundrel role, but he still, him and Luke are boys. I'm going to get him.
Yeah, he has his morals, and that's what I love about him, because we tend to fall into the stereotypical thing of scoundrel where they don't have morals or virtues, or just they think of themselves, and this proves that he doesn't think of himself as well. And then when you look at Luke's training and his arc, just in that cave alone, trying to get away from the Wampa, and then finally getting out, running out, taking the Wampa's arm, running out, and then he lands, and he's like succumbing to freezing up, basically. And he sees Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then after that, Han comes with the Tauntaun and rescues him and stuff. And one thing that I thought was interesting as well, I'm going to go back to the more of the beginning as well, is Han and Leia's relationship, because they're over there, they're having that little tug and pull relationship going on right there of her not wanting him to leave, but then she's like, but she doesn't want him to know it, but you can sense it as well.
He knows it.
Yeah,
knows it.
there's that classical romantic tug and pull that we have that we hardly see in the movies today.
I want to go to Fatal J real quick. Now, when Luke, before Han found Luke in the snow, Jay, when Obi-Wan, your first impression, because that was when I first saw Obi-Wan's Force Ghost, I was literally like, oh shoot, he's going to get more wisdom and more Jedi training, and then he flipped it on his head, where it's like, no, you're not going to get it from me. You're going to take a trip, young man. Your thoughts on that on how that whole thing played out, especially when I thought when he was coming out of the Wampa thing, and the snowstorm was basically like was beating him down, and then he just fell down, and as he picked up his head, heard his name, Luke. Yeah. Take me through that in your head, man.
I'm gonna tell you, I have to go back to my 12-year-old mind head, because I saw this in the movie theater. I was one of the lucky ones that seen this in the movie theater.
I've seen it in a drive-in theater. Drive-ins.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't know what Star Wars was, bro. Like I was watching this on the screen. I was going with my auntie and my cousin to watch Preacher's Wife with Whitney Houston.
Oh my God, that sucked.
Okay. And something happened to the theater. Something happened to the movie reel. So they told us you can either get a refund or you can pick any movie you want to watch that's playing currently. And my aunt and my cousin didn't know what to watch. So I said, hey, let's watch this Star Wars thing right here. This is me, 12 years old. So what was showing was Empire Strikes Back. And let me tell you something. I was stunned. Yeah. My aunt and my cousin fell asleep during the movie.
Oh, blasphemy. Blasphemy.
Like it was so boring to them. They both fell asleep. While they sleep, because it's really, we the only ones in the movie theater.
Right.
So while they sleep, I'm sitting here like this. But to go back to that scene, what I know now about Star Wars, I just thought that was so dope that Han found Luke. He was looking for Luke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Amidst all that was going on during the battle, Han was there and looked out for his homie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't looking good for Luke.
No, it wasn't. Give me 1 second. We have gotten a super chat from my brother. Justin Proper, $5 super chat. He says, I love A New Hope more than Empire, but it's the best sequel of all time. Better than Godfather. Wow, he said better than Godfather 2? Press 7 in the chat to show your love for Abu Nas. Justin Proper, thank you, brother, for that $5 super chat. So glad that you're able to chill with us for as long as you can. It's just as you said, Fatal, just the fact that when he heard that Luke wasn't there, and the guy was telling him, well, the weather is dropping down, and said, well, the speed is not ready. Well, he said, we're going to have to go out on Tauntaun.
Yeah. And you get one of his best lines, Abu Nas, because you got to say this movie has better one-liners than A New Hope. He says, you go out there, you're going to die. And he's like, I'll see you in hell. It was like a Western right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, man. And just shoot, I'm like, damn, we need more language in Star Wars like that. You know, hell, damn, the old school curse words that, they shouldn't be in the PG film, but there it is.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you guys a question, because going back to what OG brought up, that tension between Leia and Han, which is one of the best scenes, them going down that corridor fighting, and he's like telling her, you need to get kissed. You need a kiss. Could that
I assume just kiss a Wookiee.
Yeah, right. could that happen in movies today? A man acting like that, like he's not pressing her. He's trying to open her mind and say, look, you're scared to say you love me. I know you love me. Tell me you love me. They wouldn't allow that to happen in a movie today. They wouldn't allow that.
No, a man can't talk down to women like that in this modern times right now, because then it's toxic.
Right. Instead of being like, look, I'm trying to help you open up your heart. Like, I need you to say it first.
But she didn't either. I don't even think she backed down. I mean, the way he pointed at her face, she went back a little bit, but she still got up in his face.
Yeah. Exactly.
Absolutely.
She was playing hard to get. She liked him.
Well, yeah.
I think she was confused. I think
she liked the bad boy 3.
I don't even think it manifested itself as of yet. Well, I mean, it'll come down the road, but I think she admired him just as, you know, he was saying, well, princess, you know, I gotta leave. And it's
she was peeping he was cocky in New Hope. She was digging him. I mean, look,
she wanted to slap him upside his head, though, but okay.
He helped Luke destroy the Death Star. She knew he was a good guy. He was cocky. She was feeling it, bro.
I
agree. As a woman, she was totally attracted to him.
Yeah.
That was more relevant than, you know, like the supposedly attracted to Luke, because at the time they still weren't revealed that they were sibling jets,
right?
And so there was still that kind of tug and pull. But when you look at it in reality, she was more attracted to Han.
She always was. She never felt Luke. Luke was the good church boy. She didn't want Luke.
Luke was there to make him jealous.
She wanted
That's
it. Luke
he was a prop.
Yeah.
The thing with Leia, I also think she was scared. She was scared to say she had feelings for Han. She was a princess. She was raised a princess. She should not like a guy like this.
Absolutely.
So for her to open up, I mean, it was a journey for her. I mean, we all know she's badass. She is tough. She saved herself pretty much on the Death Star. You know what I mean? She saved them on the Death Star. But like when it comes to her emotions, it wasn't until she met Han she learned to open up.
Well, I know one thing. He was pushing her buttons kind of hard. He was like, "Oh, princess, you got me more than what you know." And she looked at him like, "Oh, please, brother, it's not that serious, you know."
He was calling her out. He was calling her out.
There you go.
And how can you ever forget the greatest line while you stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder? Let me tell you something. Those 4 lines I can remember until the day I die. And I sucked in math, I sucked in science. I was like, everything in terms of school you can't remember. But those 4 lines, those things stay with you forever. He looked at her like, who you calling fuzzy? And then Chewie laughing. And he was like, you don't see me and my girl in the South. He was throwing it on. And then she said, you know what? All right, fuck this. She get in Luke. She planted the one on Luke. And Luke was sitting up there like, and
the thing about that is I've gotten into like debates about that because they're like, oh, that was a passionate kiss. No, it wasn't. That
was a kiss of gratitude.
That was a jealous kiss.
That was
of gratitude.
using Luke. And then Luke was like, oh yeah, but he was like, basically he was so naive to it.
Yeah, he didn't even see it coming. He was like,
"Oh, he put his hands on it."
And then he goes, "What did he say? Don't get too." He didn't tell him, don't get cocky." What did he say to him after that? He was like, "Or settle down," or something like that.
He said, "Take it easy." He said, "Take it easy." They looked at him, and everybody looked at. Even C-3PO was like, "Woo!" Yeah.
And then Luke deflated. He's all, "Beer."
I know, poor guy. Yeah, they went the Targaryen route before it was even popular.
Yeah, they did.
But then after that, that's when it really kicked into high gear. Empire found out where they was at.
You got to hold on though, Abu, because remember, one of the other great things about the beginning of that film was just how well they put on display just the dynamics between all of them. Not just Han, Leia, and Luke, but even Chewbacca. And C-3PO and R2-D2, you know, like everybody felt that sort of depression when they couldn't find Luke. Everybody, I mean, even the bleeps and the blurps from R2, it was crazy, and it wasn't forced. Everything felt natural the way that they did that, and it was just a great dynamic between those cast members that we just haven't really seen duplicated. You know, I just think they did a great job.
The sad thing is in the sequel, they never got the chance to come together to even come close. Because when they were all on screen together, they weren't bad. The chemistry was kind of there. They just never got a chance to grow that.
Yeah, because those put them together on screen to even have the opportunity. It wasn't written well.
Exactly.
That too. Give me 1 second. We got another super chat coming up. My goodness, we got a big time movie star coming up in here. Oh, Harrison Ford himself with the $2 super chat, even though he's a multi-billionaire, so I don't know why he's skimming off the top with $2, but I'll take it out if I want. He said, whoo, scruffy looking. Look at that face. Look at that handsome matinee movie idol face. I tell you, ladies, he was the man back in those days, so y'all couldn't even say nothing. That man could write his own goddamn ticket. But yeah, everybody had love for each other in one area or another, and that's what I loved about this movie, where, you know, even C-3PO was like, you know, Lucas, oh damn, I forgot that line. We just told him he's a scruffy or a scrappy little person for a human being, and just trying to, you know, calm down R2 because he was rocking back and forth like he was he was about to have a heart attack. But then, like I said, business picked up when the Empire came into town. And oh my goodness, how could you not love the fact that Darth Vader, our boy, you know, was chilling in the bridge, hands behind, walking back and forth, and the Imperial officers, what's going on here? Oh, we found something in the blah blah blah, and here's with the rebel. He was like, I don't know. You sure they're there? Then Vader came up and said, hey, they're there, and it's like, look, my lord. Listen, there's many other, you know, things. We don't know. He said they're there, and they're there. General Veers, get your men. Oh boy, looking like okay.
and then that admiral gave the other guy a dirty ass look. Like,
no, he was Captain Piet. He was Captain Piet at the time, and Duke was like, no, I told him this, like, listen, boy, calm down. You a captain, all right? I'm the big bat. Oh, hello, my lord. Hello. Like, is this where they at? Yeah. All right, let's go.
I gotta say something. If we're going back to the Empire, when the meteors are striking and it's the droids coming out, those spy droids, I forget what they're called off the top of my head.
The probe droids.
Thank you. Yeah. When the first one comes out of the snow, I mean, the filming of that, it's almost like a monster coming out of the lake or something. It comes out all slow, and it almost seems like it has life to it. Like, I'm telling you, Lucas, man, who directed this one? It wasn't Lucas.
Irving Kershner. Irving Kershner was George Lucas's instructor when he was in college.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he asked him to come out there because, like I said, he was getting Lucasfilm off the ground. So he really wanted to put his energy in trying to build it. And Irving Kershner said, listen, I wouldn't mind doing it, but he did make the stipulation. Listen, you leave me to do the movie. You stay away from the movie. Let me do this. And just, you know, you handle that other side of the business, but let me do what I do, and I'm gonna make it work. But of course, he still had George come to the meetings and stuff, but he was pretty much hands off. And George said, okay, you're my teacher. Not a problem. I ain't got no problem with that. And he left him alone to make the story choices and the beats that he did, because George is a filmmaker in a way that he was taught how to do film. And Irving Kershner was on the masterclass level.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, and it was still good. I mean, shit. But
I think
you could see the difference.
Yeah.
You can literally see the difference.
Great filming, great like choice of way he does like cut stuff and the way he like filmed it. I mean, to give that droid life almost, you felt like, oh, this thing is bad. This is bad news, you know, and it just came out like, you know, coming up. It was badass, man.
You know, and you're talking about the probe droids and stuff, and I thought it was very like coincidental, or maybe just happened for a reason, but that Mark Anthony, who played Boba Fett for the special editions, you know, we follow each other on Twitter, and he shared basically a picture from that scene from Empire Strikes Back, and so I shared it on Twitter. So go ahead and check it out, you guys.
Hey, you know what's crazy though? Now I know this is very irrelevant, but I always thought the dude that played Jabba the Hutt in A New Hope was more dope than the CGI character.
Yeah.
What you think, Callous? You think so?
Well, they did CG. Well, they both did
Scottish-looking
CG.
guy?
Yeah, the Scottish dude. I thought it would have been dope.
Oh, the fat guy. Okay.
Yeah, I would have thought it would have been more dope if they would have kept Jabba the Hutt as a human than a. That's just me though.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what? In hindsight, if they would have kept the fat guy, then we would have rolled with him. But since they gave us the slug, he's iconic. So it's like missed opportunity somewhat. Give me 1 second. Look who showed up in the building. 19K Fox. What's up?
Oh, Fox.
1999 Super Chat. He says, in Empire Strikes Back, Luke grew strong but was left broken. Leia was strong but became vulnerable. Han was a reluctant hero whose character was forged and refined through his Carbonite sacrifice. Yes. Well, we don't worry, Fox. We're gonna get to all of that as we go along. We
don't have that in movies these days.
Yeah, we just getting started. And on top of that, I mean, oh jeez. Luke McGurk says, I love how Ozzo thought Piet was gunning for his job. That look he gave him was priceless at the end of that thing.
One of my favorite
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, boy. Just the fact that he like, bastard, Lord Vader took your advice?
Yeah.
Ooh, you fucker. I'm
Who the hell
we gonna do it. We gonna do it. Steven Sacido says the epicness of Empire was awesome beyond the normal deep character arc. A story that beginning to end is a massive undertaking. Emotional. It doesn't end well for the heroes and the cliffhanger. Oh yeah. But like I said, we're just getting started and all that. Well, like I said, now they hitting the ground running. You know what I'm saying? And he comes up there and, Admiral Ozzel, because, he real hyped up now. He's like, all right, well, fuck it. Let's get this going, man. Come out of light speed. Oh, yeah. Now it's time for some fun. Here we go. Wait a minute. General Piet comes to his little chambers. What the fuck is going on? Sir, Admiral Ozzel came out of light speed. He felt that surprise was wise. He was like,
he tried to act like
he said, dumb ass. This idiot, this muppet, you fucking wanker. Don't worry. You know what? Get the troops ready, man. We're about to go down. Soon as he turned around, had the screen up there. Admiral Ozzo, he like, woo. Hey, Lord Vader. Oh, man. We about ready to take that. You know what? The voice. Lord Castle, take me through that scene, man. Take me how comical how that shit went down.
From start to finish, man. And every meme that they have out for that is just perfect. It was awesome the way he came in. He's just well, first of all, I loved seeing the helmet come down when he comes out of the what is it, the decompression chamber, right?
Yeah.
And it's coming down. I mean, it's lifting up and the helmet is coming down. It was just dope because at this point we didn't know what happened to Anakin. We didn't even know his name was Anakin. We just know this is Darth Vader and there is a human being underneath that helmet.
Yes.
A scarred human being.
Exactly. And all of that from the back of the head. All of that you get from the back of the head. It was amazing. And so just and I'm one that grew up. Darth Vader is my mother's favorite character. So I was rooting for Darth Vader at this point, He
was a bad guy all around, bro.
Well, it changed to Luke when I got my own mind. But back then, it was Vader.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and then when he spins around and he talks to the captain, Captain Piet, and he's like, he thought it, just like you said, he thought it was a surprise. He thought it would be best for surprise, and then Vader's like, he's as clumsy as he is stupid, like that. Like that was perfect. Yeah, this is how he's talking to. Of course, his subordinate, but now nothing good is going to come of this because he's calling this man, who's this man's superior officer, he's calling him stupid, right? So this is not going to end well for Admiral Ozzel. This, right? And so it was.
It wasn't Piet. Piet. I made a mistake. It was General Veers. General Veers was the one that came and so on. Right. Piet was with your homeboy, fat, stupid Ozzel. He was right next to him.
Whichever. But just that entire scene in itself was dope, and then him turning around and then the calling him on the holocom and then just choking him out. This is the whole scene.
I know, just choking him out, bro. And my 12-year-old self was looking at him choking him out like, what the freak is going on?
Yeah.
Who hasn't tried that though? Who hasn't just been like,
oh man.
But look, I'm watching a movie at my 12-year-old self, not knowing what the Force was. So
Right.
I see him and I'm like, this motherfucker got psychic powers or something.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Because in the New Hope, the Force choke we see is him actually lifting up what's his name?
Yeah.
The Tantive. Antilles, yeah. With him actually choking him out. So that's
well, he does the one with he does the one in the battle. What was that general's name? Where his freaking neck is like pulsating. So I thought he had to be in the room, Callous.
Yeah.
So I thought he had to be right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
This is the first time you're like, holy crap, he could do it really far away. Like, he gonna mess you up.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, working in the Empire, man, it's stressful enough, man. You got your career advancement is only based on the fact of you following orders to the letter. So,
This is what made Vader such a badass, all-time classic hero. Is that he was no nonsense.
Yeah, in every way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
God Almighty. Hold on a second. I got another super chat from my brother from. The Gospels according to Mark with a C, $5 super chat. He says that Hoth battle scene was everything Roundhead Johnson wish his limp crate scene could have been. Salute, friends. Mark with a C, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. Oh, absolutely. I mean, by the time they finally got down to it, the whole Battle of Hoth. Leia, and this is the thing that I don't get. You act like women do not have a commanding role in movies that this old, and Leia is giving pep talk speeches to the entire forces. Let them know where they need to go.
Hero that we saw. She was the first hero of the Star Wars trilogy that saga that we saw.
Yeah.
So and at no time did she ever take a back seat. I mean, she stood right up to Vader. She stood right up to Moff Tarkin. She stood, even when she was about to get tortured, she was laying in the bed like this, just chilling. Mm-hmm. This is somebody who is just got it all together, and she deserved. I won't go there, but she just.
What she deserved, Callous.
Just so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. Luke Skywalker. I mean, God Almighty, it's just so many epic scenes, one after the other. When he crashed his snow speeder, Dak was, especially when they was going through. Him and Wedge was using the
harpoons,
the cable, right? The harpoon cables to bring them down because they wasn't doing it with the blasters, and then the AT-ATs was still coming at them, and they just in the trenches just shooting. Just like I said, that was an actual battle that didn't confuse you, didn't give you a trillion and billion one ships that you confused to see who the fuck is flying this one and space horses riding the. You don't get that. You actually get a battle where you can literally follow it and not just be, confused or who's doing what and this, that, whatever. Yeah, man, these guys had a purpose. They had a plan. And then Luke Skywalker, and I must say that John Williams' music was in rare form, especially during that whole battle sequence where Luke, running under the AT-AT. And then he pulled up the thing and he just tossed it up there, and it's like dun 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 dun, dun. And now he pulled out the lightsaber. If that's not your hero, I don't know what is. To be honest with you, I really don't.
You're right. Did he? I seriously think the spirit went through him to make that music. Like I really believe that was like a godly like ability to make music like that, touches you, that gets you like on the edge of your seat when you listen to it. Like it's amazing, man. It's amazing music.
And then I'll put that in an artist perspective because yes, he is an artist, and so I can probably, and I used to like music. I've never composed it. My grandfather was a composer.
Oh,
So
nice.
Wow.
yeah, he was the first Filipino Air Force pilot when it was the Air Force and Army or something like that. Well, anyways, I'm not going to get into that. That's not the point. But he when you get wrapped up into something and you really get involved with it and you really love it and stuff, that's going to shine through your art. And so that totally shined through John Williams' creation of the score for Star Wars. He knew George's vision. He knew what George wanted. He knew that he wanted, certain tone of music for the silent scenes where we get to contemplate with him. He knew that there's music that helped us realize, oh crap, Luke is connecting to the Force. And he knew, all that. And it took us on a journey in itself. So if we were to watch it without any words, like a black and white, and just have the music, we would still understand it.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
God, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you have like that imperial sound for the empire, like that German, I'm forgetting the guy's name, but you could tell he took styles from different people, but Leia's very violin and quiet. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Another super check. Tatsunami, $5 super chat. Hail Abu, panel and chat. Hail my brother, so glad that you're here. We got a few others that came in. I just wanted to try to get some love in for everybody that's gracing our presence. Lance Aledo, Abu Nas, if Obi didn't stop Anakin and cut his limbs, the Rebel Alliance would have never been formed. Anakin is the paragon that got cut down to life size. Yes, sir, he is. Yes, sir, he is. Soul Assassin's in the house. Brecky Bro One is here. Hello, my darling. Ballet Dancer is in the building. The Imperial March. Oh, yeah. That's when the Imperial March became like freaking legend right there. Oh, that Tug Life is in the building. What's up? Wookiee Supremacy, the old Jedi mind trick totally works. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Oh, my goodness.
Can I bring up something I saw rewatching this that
yes, sir.
Didn't get to me? Rewatching it, knowing I was going to come on this show, and thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, brother.
No, seriously, it's an honor, man. It's an honor. One of the things that I thought was awesome was when right before the battle starts to happen and Luke is saying goodbye to Han, because Han has to leave to pay his debt, just like he did in A New Hope. He was about to leave to pay his debt. You had A New Hope where they're fighting and he's calling him like a coward, pretty much like you're leaving us when we need you most. Yes. And their friendship has built so much. They didn't even say a word, really. They looked at each other.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
They didn't. Yeah, he didn't have to put anything in there for us to know. So when you said silent like movie, that moment was powerful enough with no words. They just nodded at each other,
Yeah, give me 1 second. Lance Delato, I just put him up there on the screen. Now you just dropped the $10 super chat. And he says, sir, and chat as well. I put forth the notion that episode 3 is better than 6. Acting sucks mostly, but it's a shining gem in the prequels. Episode 3 should have been.
Here, Callous, you too? Yeah. I rock with 3 harder than 6.
3, I rock with 3 even more. And I know it's blasphemy for me to say.
You can say 1, ain't you?
Revenge of the Sith is better to me.
1?
No, than Empire.
Yeah, see, I gotta disagree.
No.
I know.
Let's not get into the knockdown, drag out battle, gentlemen. I got them neck and neck, so I'm trying to play, politician here.
I know objectively it's a better movie, but the reason why is just because of the lore, just because of the story that is told.
I'll give you that.
That's why, and for me, that's what's most important to me. That's what. That's why I love Star Wars. So, with the original trilogy, like I said, Vader was my mother's favorite, so he was my first favorite before I became Luke. So now I'm seeing Anakin's journey. I'm seeing Darth Vader become Darth Vader. So this is what Revenge of the Sith is to me. And you know what I'm saying? So so for me, I get it. Objectively, it's Empire is hands down the better movie. I get that. It's not lost on me. But my favorite of the 6 is Revenge and then Empire.
Well,
Okay.
without
Mine
without that, you would never have the powerful. Like 6 got better. 5, actually, I'm sorry. Empire Strikes Back got better because of 3.
Yeah.
You know, because once you learn that journey and then you see what's going on. Like I rewatched this movie, and when we get to those parts, I'm going to point out that the prequel really did affect how I viewed it this time for the first time ever.
It expanded the force with me. Mine, I love episode 6, then episode 3. And but I was always first and foremost a Luke Skywalker fan. So I get what you're saying, like being an Anakin or Vader fan, and then of course you're gonna like those focused movies, and that's fine. But I've always loved Luke Skywalker, and he's the reason I got into the EU. It's because I wanted to know what happened to him after. I want to know if he became a Jedi Master, if he created an order, and how did he succumb all these trials and tribulations that are set before him after as well. So
gotcha. And being that within that mode where we're showing love to the prequels, I have to, this is my tradition as I'm doing these live streams, that I get everybody caught up musically on every live stream that we did. We touched on what's perfect and what's beautiful about this journey of Anakin, because
did he freeze?
Yes, he did. Look at that.
I thought
somebody's gonna meme him.
I thought I froze too, bro.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna capture.
What did you say, Abernas? I know I'm fantastic. Thank you. I think what he was gonna say was, I'm not gonna do it. I was about to try to bust out one.
Great pose. I mean, last time he froze, he had my mug up that he got, and he was like, "Cheers."
I gotta say, I just got paranoid there for a second. I thought it was me, and I'm like, I am gonna be a meme. Oh no.
Oh,
While we're waiting for him, back to what you said, Callous. I like that the meaning for you. Like that's the one thing I love about the Fandom Menace hashtag is that you could love what you love, and I still respect your view because you respect mine. Like the author Stephen Walton, his favorite movie is 3. He watched it with his kid, and it bonded them, and it made him really enjoy it even more. I just think
it's okay. Just keep going.
Okay,
He'll be back. He'll come back.
What I think now, though, is that 3 made 4, 5, 6. Well, 1, 2, and 3 made 4, 5, 6 so much different of a movie, knowing the journey Anakin went through, and also when we get to Yoda, just the way he teaches Luke, it changed how I think about it.
Yeah,
it changed how I view it.
Yeah, because you could actually see the from 1, 2, 3 to 4, 5, 6, and even though I know it may not have intended it that way, but you could see the change, the difference in Yoda's teaching style, and that was because he understood that he could not train the Jedi. The Jedi of this new era could not be the same as they were. That was their own folly, that they were so stuck in their old ways. They were just jaded.
And so what's crazy? I respect Yoda in the original because he was more fun. You know what I mean? Yoda had a stick up his
bit, didn't he?
Yoda had a stick up his butt in the prequels. He wasn't joking or nothing at all.
Yeah, he was arrogant.
But that come with wisdom, though. As you get older, you switch up. You different. He was more relaxed. He had fun with Luke. Hit him in the head with sticks and stuff.
But you also have to remember, though, this is a Jedi Grand Master, right? Who doesn't understand why they're losing their touch with the Force, because from the Phantom Menace on, the dark side was clouding everything for them. Yeah. So you have a different Yoda at this point. He's living on a dark side planet, so he's just around it all the time, as opposed to the fact that in the sequels or the prequels rather, this is somebody who for 800 years prior to that, he was just enveloped in the light side of the Force, and so now he's the dark side is all around him. He's about to face a war, So it was like at this time period in his life, there was no time to kiki kaka.
Well,
he was
And what Solo understood is that, okay, let me finish and I'll have you go. Is that at the end of Revenge of the Sith, it's like he was telling Obi-Wan, we must go into exile and basically continue training because we are basically hiding the new hopes of the galaxy, Luke and Leia. So that kind of expands it a little bit more. And also, too, part of his, joshing around was also testing Luke's patience and all that as well. So I thought that was very well played.
Yeah. And and not to bring out the sequels, but that was what I thought Luke was doing in The Last Jedi, when he was acting all aloof and
right.
I thought that he's given Rey some Yoda here. Yep. And then it was like, no. I'm like, no.
We prayed for
this is just him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You know what part you guys, like how you were just saying it, there's a part where he's training Luke. He accepts Luke, even though he didn't want to. And Luke asks him, is the dark side stronger? And I take it now differently from watching the prequels, because it used to be him just saying no, but he actually pauses for a second. And it's like almost like a fear thing where he's like, no, it's not stronger. It's faster to get there, but you could tell that something in there saying, well, maybe he's not telling the whole truth, because it is at the moment more powerful.
Yeah.
At the moment.
All right. Abu Nas got a hold of me and his internet crashed and he's rebooting right now. So he'll be back in here.
Right.
Yeah. And so expand on Yoda a little bit more as well is that, we see that arc go all the way into Empire Strikes Back and even beyond. Of course, we're not talking about Return of the Jedi right now. And so there's a lot of wisdom that he's gained over his time in solitude, to where he realizes the errors that they did during the time of the fall of the Jedi Order, and also realizing that Palpatine basically played both sides, and he studied, and he even said it in in the novelization Dark Plagueis, that they studied both the light and the dark side.
Right.
And so to understand it. So when Sidious created both sides of the war, he knew that the Jedi were going to respond accordingly to protect the peace. So that was well played. And so
that's why Sidious said, you must embrace a larger view of the Force.
Yeah. That's absolutely right.
It's crazy, man.
Now, there's what I love about Yoda's entrance. Otis. I love Otis. Yoda's entrance is, even when he's acting all crazy and it's mine. He drops wisdom when Luke, because in Empire Strikes Back, Luke is looking to become a warrior. He doesn't understand what the Jedi are. He thinks he's a warrior. Yeah. So he says, I'm looking for a great warrior. And Yoda says, to the
wars
fact,
not make one great.
Perfect, man, because I was going to screw that up. Thank you for saying it. Wars does not make one great. And I thought right there, I was like, damn. And Luke, because he's not listening to this little entity here, because he doesn't respect that the Force is not a big, strong guy, it's the power you have within. He missed that life lesson.
That's a great point. Yeah.
It was.
But
dope.
yeah, I got a lot of respect for Yoda's character in the original trilogy. Because like you said, it's just he had that wisdom and he wasn't tripping on wherever he was at, because where he lived was crappy. He lived in a crappy little place, man. And
he made that choice.
Yeah, and he had to. I understand he had to hide, but I just thought that was just so dope that we get two different Yodas. Like when we saw the prequels, we didn't know Yoda was like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, OG, let me ask you, and Callous, what books bridge that gap where is there any books that talk about Yoda's solitude and how he, the introspective, meditation he must have been doing that whole time and training?
That's something I would like to get into.
Is there any books that talk about that?
No, I think the way that they tried to bridge those gaps was through Clone Wars.
Okay.
Clone Wars, and is it Outbound Flight? Are what ones has Cardass?
Because I know when it comes to Yoda, and I know his race, they keep it real mysterious. I know they do.
Well, that's intentional. Yeah, he didn't want anyone to know Yoda's race. But That's a great question.
I
Because
think
I know
why is it because George Cardass basically he is kidnapped by some darksiders. Hey, and basically he is saved by Yoda, and through his healing and what have you, he kind of gives them a little bit, and we're not sure if he's force sensitive or not, but he kind of gives him a little bit of that sensibility, and then so there's a story behind that to that, and then when you get into the Thrawn duology, Cardass reveals that he had told him that he is preparing for the greatest mission of his life, and that's Luke Skywalker. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I learned something.
Oh, there is another one, but I don't know if you want to. It's hold on one second.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's short stories. It's not a whole book though. I mean, it's a whole book with different. It's called from a different point of view is what the book is called. And in that book, it tells you, it goes from it fills in all of the gaps from A New Hope through Return of the Jedi. It tells the stories like behind the scenes. So it's called From a Different Point of View, because where, for example, when Obi-Wan comes out and sees Luke, right. And with the Tusken Raiders, they tell the story. This one chapter is told from the perspective of the Tusken Raiders.
Really?
Yeah. So it's dope in that. It actually came out. That book came out right as Disney bought the franchise.
So
so it's still considered legend.
It's right on the cusp there. So one of the chapters you learn in that book that Obi-Wan shows himself to. He comes to Yoda on Dagobah, and they're having a discussion, and he says to Yoda, I'm this is Obi-Wan speaking, that I'm ready for you to begin training. And Yoda is like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. And he's like, are you going to bring her to me? Oh. And Obi-Wan is like, not her, him. And he's like, I'm not training him. He's not ready yet. And he's like, he had that whole chapter is Obi-Wan speaking to Yoda about why, like, defensive of Luke, that why Luke needs to be trained, and Leia is good right now. Yeah, so it's like we don't need to worry about Leia right now. We need more
weight to that there is another. You know, it brings a lot more weight to that. There is another.
It does. Makes me question too, like, because it's on the cusp of the acquisition of Star Wars by Disney, is that like just like Tarkin, was that rewritten to fit their lore?
Well, I'm hoping not. I'm hoping it. You know,
I think it sounds like it is.
Yeah, they wanted Leia to be the more powerful one.
Yeah,
they wanted her to be.
And see, the thing is this: like, if we're looking, and I know we're off topic here, but I can't stand that conversation. Not the conversation, but just that point of view is that these guys are twins, okay? Luke and Leia are twins, which means they're of the same mind and body. So one is not more powerful than the other.
Yep.
They are equally powerful, and they Leia has her strengths, Luke has his strengths. Together, they're the real dyad.
There you go. Right there. Yes.
I know Jay Fado got something in his head. What you got, brother?
No, man, I'm just soaking all in. They dropping heat, man.
Opposite sides of the same coin. So one is not more powerful than the other, as they try to imply in the novelization of The Rise of Skywalker. She's not more powerful. She has her strengths, as does he, and they're equally as powerful. These are twins.
So you think Luke and Leia equally Force powers?
Yeah,
they're
twins. Shown in the EU, the original EU, it is, because she even advanced to Jedi Knight like that once she commits, like that. And when you look at it, and we'll go back to the topic of the novel we're talking about. Let me just add this one more, just one more. Okay, so when you look at it, because they're equally strength in the Force, but you could see one resembles a parent than the other. So Leia, her mentality and her quick temper resembles her dad, but she is on the path of her mom. And then we see Luke's temperament basically resembles his mom, but he's on the path of his dad.
Oh wow.
So you have that crisscross.
Yin and the yang.
Yeah, exactly. And so why try to put it out there that one is more powerful than the other? Why not go with that narrative that these are twins? They were twins for a reason. But I mean, otherwise it would have just been the story of Luke.
I think Ryan got it right though, and I was thinking in my head the same thing. The training.
Oh, yeah, I just there go my brother.
I think people looking at the training more than power. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because George Lucas said Star Wars is about fathers and sons. All due respect to Leia, but she needs to stay in the
if we going by just movie though, I think people going by just movie, and I think they're going by training.
Yeah, my vice president in the house. Look up Luke and Leia's midichlorian count. Have the same at 14,500.
They're twins.
Right.
Twins.
Now
I think Fatal. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I think Fatal J has a valid point though. If you're looking at just the movie franchise, what they did in that sequel movies was a joke. If we take the EU into it and learn that she actually did train and she moved up quickly, I would buy all that. But it was almost like they shoved it in our throats because they had to figure something out because they killed Luke off. I mean, that's the sad part.
Because most people, I think most people going by just movie, and that's why people were so upset when they seen.
But that wasn't even in the movie. It wasn't. I mean, I guess there was that implication during that dream sequence or that vision sequence, but it's in the novelization that they imply that she was more powerful, even out of the mouth of Luke Skywalker in the novelization of the.
But what I'm saying is, I think it pissed people
not
off.
Just the movie. The problem is that is pushed. That's the problem. Is that's intentional, and there's no reason for it. There's no reason why she has to be more powerful than him. If they're two different people. Even if they have the same bloodline, if they're brother and sister, right? Then okay, I buy it, right? If you say he's the older brother, she's the younger sister with more power than Luke Skywalker. Okay, whatever. If that's what you want to do to change the narrative, but the point is that they are twins. Period. Yeah. So you to try to tell me that she is that she is more powerful than him, it doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
She has her strengths.
They didn't even have to go there, what you're saying.
Exactly. It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary, except to try to make it sound like, let me shit on your favorite character some more. And listen, let me tell you something, because I wrote it already. I have to get it recorded. This is the worst. What is it? Destiny Path, the worst of the 4 comics so far. I mean, the way that they've written Luke Skywalker is just ridiculous. It's retroactively destroying his character to make him fit this Jake Skywalker that we have in the sequel trilogy. And I just don't understand the reason for that. What is the purpose of you going back and writing these characters? I mean, our character in these comics to portray this. It doesn't make sense. It just.
They're doubling down, man, tripling down.
Let's get back to the better part.
Let's get back to
let's get back to the real deal.
As a matter of fact,
before we become depressed.
Yeah, give me a second, because I was about to go into a segue, and after the internet told me to go fuck myself and you're not doing any more shit to boost up George Lucas. As I said, I have to bring everybody up to speed on this journey, so just bear with me. We got Terminus with the $2 super chat. He says JJ must have a VJJ and Ryan have a small Johnson. Oh, absolutely. Those people were made for each other. So let's just get this thing cracking, because you know I'm all about entertainment and the ways of the Force, starting with you know what and you know where. Check it out. Now listen, I'm starting the journey off again, and we're going to start with the first, because we was talking about good old Anakin and how he was the chosen one. So let's do it. The Phantom Menace, Episode 1, the real Star Wars story has begun. Anakin Skywalker was only 9. He was so sweet, so good and so kind. Before he became the greatest villain of our time, he was a great pilot that always shined. Lived on Tatooine, he was born a slave. He only had his mom that he loved every day. He did everything to make ends meet. He fixed everything he found off the street. His destiny changed when he met Qui-Gon Jinn. He won his freedom after racing. But before that, he met the angel of his dreams, Padme Amidala, who was the queen. He told his mom he'll be back again when he's strong enough to win a freedom. And she smiled and told him to not look back. She loved him forever, and that was a fact. As sad as he was, Anakin finally left the Darth Maul, ambushed him on the set. But Qui-Gon Jinn was the true vet. He fought the Sith without breaking a sweat. They all got away, then he met Obi-Wan as they all flew off back to Coruscant. The Jedi Council told Qui-Gon Jinn, "What did you find in the desert, my friend?" He said he found the one that was chosen from the high count of the midichlorians. Mace Windu said, "No, that can't be. This little boy fulfills the prophecy. He is the one, I will train him myself." He said, "Hell no, you got to go help Queen Amidala reclaim the throne." The dark side of the Force was now shown. It was Darth Plagueis who first Anakin the first time, and he started panicking. He saw the end of the Sith through him. Darth Bane's grand plan will be ruined if they don't stop this young boy from doing what he think he'll be pursuing. He saw Qui-Gon Jinn right by his side. He concluded that he'll be a Jedi. He knew right then that boy got to die in order to keep the grand plan alive. They flew to Naboo and won the whole day. Queen Amidala is here to stay. Darth Maul was dead, but so was Qui-Gon. Yoda was worried that something was wrong. Obi-Wan said, "I made a promise for my master to go finish this. Train Anakin to defeat the Sith, fulfill the prophecy, and then live in bliss." Yoda said, "I agree, then proceed to teach Anakin everything that he needs." Darth Plagueis died, Sidious arrived to find a new apprentice to stand at his side. Now you know, Anakin Skywalker was already a child prodigy. But we're not gonna stop there because I already had a lot of time taken away from me, so I'm trying to play catch up. So with that being said, we're gonna go over to the next chapter where he and the love of his life really started getting things going. So let's do it. Love is in the air, everybody, especially for the chosen one. We're gonna rock it like this. Oh yeah, something to make everybody fall in love, you know? Attack of the Clones, Episode 2. Padme Amidala now travels to Coruscant to vote on something large. The act that will put the military in charge. She got ambushed in broad daylight. Chancellor act the Jedi, protect the life. They called in Anakin and Obi-Wan to look over her till the threat was gone. 10 years passed, Anakin is still in love with the woman of his dreams from above. But the would-be assassins tried again. They failed, and now the mystery begins. The Jedi Council said enough is enough. Obi-Wan, go to Kamino, see what's up. Anakin, head to Naboo with Padme, and make sure that no harm comes away. Obi-Wan was shocked by what he saw. A full-fledged army prepared for war. They're clones of the bounty hunter Jango Fett. Darth Tyrannus hired them for the project. Anakin and Padme professed their love, but they couldn't act on it, and that was because they're from two different worlds that can't collide. It's tearing them both up from the inside. That night, Anakin had a really bad dream. He packed up and headed straight to Tatooine. His mother was kidnapped, he feared the worst. When she died in his arms, he had the thirst of the rage and the anger he kept at bay. He killed every sand person in his way. He made another promise in front of a grave that he will stay strong to his dying day. Count Dooku told Obi-Wan the Sith is back. They need to band together to counterattack. Obi-Wan said, no, you must let me go. Count Dooku said, no, you the star of the show. Anakin and Padme tried to rescue him, but they both got captured. Let the games begin. Palpatine said the Separatists ready for war. Let's give them exactly what they bargained for. Mace Windu said, no, I'll take the Jedi to rescue Obi-Wan before he dies. Yoda said, I'll head out to see the clones, to see what kind of skills that they now own. Mace Windu came out hard with the whole squad, killed Jango Fett, but they're stuck in the yard. Count Dooku said, I'm sorry, but you all must die. Then Yoda and the clones came from out the sky. Then the Clone Wars began, all hell broke loose. The Jedi fighting for justice and truth. The Geonosians had a wicked plan that must not fall in the hands of man. Gave it to Count Dooku and then they left. Dooku already know how to use it best. He would give it to his master and then they rule the entire galaxy, only them two. Anakin and Obi-Wan had caught up with him, but Count Dooku was too strong for them. He was about to kill him when Yoda arrived. He handled Dooku quick, so he had to fly. The fighting was over, but the war began. Dooku showed Darth Sidious the whole damn plan. Anakin and Padme got married on Naboo. It was still a secret, so nobody knew. Yoda knew the dark side was involved, but that's another problem that they must solve. Holla back. All right, everybody. We got 2 episodes out the way, but we're jumping ahead of ourselves. We're going right back to episode 5. So so Yoda finally training your boy, huh? He's finally giving him the life lessons that he needed to learn. I put it to you like this. As far as Yoda is concerned, the way he started off, like I said, he made himself into a mischievous little prick, you know. But when it came down for the get down, he did a whole reversal. That whole mischievous thing was an act. It was pretty much an act.
Big things come in small price.
OG, you're on mute. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Abunas, we kind of covered this a little bit.
You
while
did?
you were
Okay.
Absent, but you go ahead and it's your turn to share what you think. So we give it to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so honored. Well, actually, I'm pretty much done. I mean, in terms of, did y'all get through his whole training?
We didn't get to the cave.
Not
we didn't get to the training, really.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, like I said, I'm just glad that when he told him that, all your life you looked away to the stars to adventure and this and that, and never your mind on where you was, what you was doing. He said, he's headstrong like his father. But I guess in hindsight, when we know now, we finally know where Luke had eventually took himself. It just gives so much weight and credence to hear Yoda tell him, your mind was never where you was, what you were doing. It takes a serious mind, a commitment. And, because we were so blessed to see the future of Luke Skywalker, and I'm not talking about the Disney bullshit sale because it was trash. But his whole journey, his whole beginnings and how he became the Jedi Grandmaster started in that muddy little hut on Dagobah. And he literally said, you know what? I'm not afraid. He said, no, you will be. But at the same time, he knew he was going to commit himself to this because he was told that you wasn't paying attention and you got it. You got what it takes. And I'm going to bring it out of you. So
You will be.
Yeah. I need to make mention because I just got a nice little message from Becky Browan. When I got kicked out of the internet, she dropped a $5 super chat.
That's dope.
So I don't know whether it came back up or what have you, but she didn't make mention what it was. So I guess when I got kicked out, everything that I did, I guess beforehand was just wiped out. So I don't know what came in or what didn't.
She just sent another.
Yeah.
Oh, she did?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
another one, but we didn't see it because I was looking.
I'll take one for the
Yeah,
team.
because y'all was the guest. So I guess but then again I have it in the thing where y'all can see the chat. So I don't know.
I'll take 1 for the team because I got to dip out. You know, I got another live stream.
Oh yeah, Fatal J, thanks a lot for coming on, man.
I'm gonna take 1 for the team. She wants somebody to sound like Yoda. I'll do it. Mine.
Yeah, here we go. $5 super chat. Can you or Callous or Fatal J say mine like Yoda did? Yep. Fatal J did it for you, sweetheart.
Hold on, let me try to do it better.
Much.
Ooh, mine.
Wait, Fatal. It's the scene when R2 is trying to take the food, and he's banging on
R2.
That's the scene. Now go. Now you got your motivation.
Feel it.
Mine.
There you go.
Callous. Take me out, Callous.
Ninja. Vanish.
Oh man.
Nice.
Love that brother Fatal J. Well, he does better impressions than me, that's for damn sure. But well, OG Star Wars, since you basically took control here, direct us on to the next scene.
There we go.
I'm playing catch up right now.
All right, so basically we didn't fully get into the full training of Luke's experience on Dagobah. So you wanna go ahead and just talk about his experience on Dagobah in general?
Yeah. In general, my whole aspect of how wonderfully real that whole montage was. How real it was. Muddy, gritty. He's sweating. He's training. He's going up the ladder, doing the flips, doing the runs, with his master right there. You understand what I'm saying? Getting the life lessons early, struggling. That's training, man. That's training. Even if it's one movie, that is real training. So, the way he's levitating, but he's having trouble doing it. And the master is just there watching. You understand what I'm saying?
In his ear. In his ear
all the time, teaching him, use the force, let it flow. And it's like, the dark side is quicker. Then he said, no, he
more
said,
effective.
More effective. He said, it's the dark side stronger? No, quicker, more effective.
And when you were, Abanas, when you were gone, I brought up the point of when I rewatched it this morning, for some reason, it was the first time the prequels popped into my head while I was watching it. And when he asks Yoda that question, is the dark side stronger? Yoda freezes for a second and then says, no. Almost like he had to think like, oh, it is kind of stronger right now.
Because he had that fight with Darth Sidious and, but you know what? That's what makes now just revisiting all of this even more special because of the context of that the prequels bring story-wise into the OT. Even when Luke asks Obi-Wan in A New Hope, how did my father die? And then Alec Guinness just did it so brilliantly, but in that day and time, there was no real context to how he did that thing with his eyes. Like he was like, oh shit, I can't tell him that was his father. So the way he did it, it was so brilliant because now that we have the prequels, now that we know what happened, just having him see that little eye gesture thing was just a stroke of genius. Same thing with Yoda in Empire Strikes Back. So a lot of context, a lot of history. Now that you feel the weight of Luke's training, knowing everything that went down behind that. It's great. And like I said, he did some real training and real failures when he went into that cave and the whole bit. So I was on board for the second because he made it believable.
Right. Yeah, and in the hero's journey right now, Luke is literally in the unknown world as well. Now he is beginning his journey in the unknown territories. Dealing with his mentors and his superhero, or basically the alchemy of his path right now.
Right.
So
Well, he's misunderstood. He misunderstands what a Jedi is. He thinks warrior. So when he goes into the cave, he takes his gun with him. Yeah. He takes his belt with him.
Yep, I forgot about that. That's right.
But that's part of the training is understanding. And so now that he's in the unknown world, that's what our unknown part of the journey. Now he's learning because this is all unknown. He's going through the alchemy of the hero's journey right now, getting his training.
No, that was just such a great scene because this is your master. This is the Jedi Grand Master, the great warrior who has told you your weapons, you don't need them. You won't need them. And your ass still says, yeah, all right, I'm gonna take these with me. Yeah, you know, right? Like that was just so crazy that he even doubted the word of Jedi Grandmaster Yoda. Right. That was just so, you know, but like, bro, you are not ready. You are not ready.
He thinks fight first.
Yeah.
Fight first. That is the problem with Luke in Empire Strikes Back is he thinks warrior mentality. I mean, both in the cave, isn't it in the cave too, but definitely in their battle, he's the first one to light his saber.
Yeah.
He's the first one to ignite it because he thinks attack first, not okay, let me use the power of what the Force really is. And that's trying to get to somebody's compassion, to their humanity. It's he thought I got to be a great warrior, and he failed. That's why he failed.
Yoda even says it to him, like it's always for knowledge and defense, never for attack. And just like you said, each time he confronted Vader, first he snap hissed first each time, and it's like that's not defense, bro. You're just unless your concept is the best defense is a great offense. I mean, you know, but that's just why Luke's story is just so great. Like
and then we see him take that knowledge that he learned and then teach it to in the new Jedi Order that he creates. And he says the very things, you know, your best defense is your offense. You never ignite your saber first. You always try to resolve it.
Right. Now, one thing I always wondered, and I still wonder watching it, when he comes out of the cave, even right before he goes in, Yoda looks almost scared. Like he's scared of what's going to happen once he sees this vision that I'm guessing Yoda already knows maybe what he's going to see, or
I think he was disappointed.
Okay. Because the thing is, because that cave, which we learn now has been destroyed. Luke and Snoke and Kylo Ren destroyed it. Just FYI, it's in the comic. Yes.
For what reason? Like
so anyway, it's just the fact that nobody knew what vision was going to manifest, right? In that cave. It's whatever, when he says to him, what's in there, whatever you bring with you.
Right. So
that's what he says. Yeah. That's whatever you bring with you. So that's how the dark side manifested itself to Luke as Vader and saying, no, this is what's inside of you. This darkness is inside of you if you don't change your ways, bro.
Yeah, your rage, that attack mentality. Yeah.
It's such a deep scene. And then to see for no reason in this comic, they destroyed Snoke took Kylo to Dagobah. He let him walk through the cave. It was almost the same scene, same beats of that scene, and then at the end, he destroys it.
Is that the Kylo Ren comic book?
Yeah.
Out and just okay.
Yeah.
What happened to Abu?
I don't know. I was thinking the same.
OG, it's your show.
It's my show. All right. So let's go ahead. And you guys have any more thoughts about the training on Dagobah, especially him and seeing the scenes of the training?
Yeah, I was listening. I had an important phone call.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to bring up when Abanas froze, and it's we were talking about Leia, and I'm sorry to go back to it. Yeah. I'm sorry to go back to it, but we were talking about Leia and her being a strong female character. She was like the captain of the ship. She did not leave until forced to leave at the last second. And I always found that to be powerful. Like she would not leave that spot until Han actually grabbed her and was like, we're leaving now. All the transports are gone. We have to get out of here. And I just wanted to hit that point before we moved on.
Right.
It was powerful.
Yeah. All right, so are we going to get into the asteroid chase now and switch scenes now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Abu, you're back in charge now.
No, you was doing a good job.
She's your co-pilot.
I know. I'm content right now. So you direct the traffic. Shit, I'm good. ladies run the world anyway. So you know, I'm following.
Yeah, but Disney
suit.
can't get that right. They don't understand that we already
No.
made our way, and we already did what we needed to do. There's no reason.
Don't forget, you got to be more like men. Women can't be women anymore. You got to be more like a man.
Nah, I can't run with that. So.
I can't either, man.
All right.
So the asteroids. One of my favorite parts of the movie was Art C-3PO always trying to tell Han Solo what's wrong with the Millennium Falcon. I gotta say that is still R2-D2 and C-3PO. The comic relief you get from C-3PO is still gold. I love that. The levity it gives you. That's one thing I laughed at. I chuckled to myself when I watched it.
I agree, and that the way that the timing of that comedy was just so well done that it never made it feel slapstick, though it was never out of place. It was always natural. It never diluted the story. You know, you never felt like it was any less of a fantasy. And this ridiculous droid thing over here is just, you know, you never felt it. It was very cohesive the way that they told that story and allowed for them to bring that comic relief without it looking or sounding knee slap or slapstick. It was just well done.
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you guys think about because they go in and Han he's run the Kessel Run, so if you're not familiar with that that they have to go not only through the mall where the black holes are at, the black hole cluster, but also through, you know, an asteroid field and stuff like that. So he is well adverse to navigating through the asteroids, and the Empire follows him. So what do you guys think about that scene?
Well, Mark says Han was about to seal the deal, and they go 3PO ruin it for everybody. That bastard.
That third wheel.
On that part. That's definitely right. It's right out after that part. And again, you get some of the best lines. She calls him a scoundrel. And he's like, I think I like that. You know, all up on it. You can't do that anymore. He can't lean in above her and like, you know, like a man and be like, I like, you know, I'm digging you right now.
Yeah, but you know what? Secretly,
Secretly,
these women pretty much still likes it. They got to front the role out here and make it seem like, but when they get alone in their rooms and they watch their favorite movies, they know they go into their little fantasy land. Okay, well, just, you know, admit it. You know, you want to pose and, you know, men bad, they wicked. You know, that's fine. But when we get you indoors,
now, Abu Nas, not joking.
Yeah, of course. Not a problem, you know, but that's okay. You know, we already know where the bread is buttered at. But
it never felt like Leia was vulnerable to the like it exactly. It always felt like she was in control. If she wanted to stop it at any time, that she could have. Everything that happened felt like. Like she wanted it to happen. You know what I mean? Like exactly. Like it was you never felt like he was pushing up on her and she didn't want it to happen.
Callous, here you go. He leans into her. He's like, I don't think you had enough nice scoundrels in your life. And then all of a sudden goes, hey, you, don't you dare. That might no square.
Yeah. Like, don't you know that Leia would have pulled that blast out and pop, you know, like that she would have never let herself get into a situation that she couldn't get herself out of.
Yeah, we saw her in episode 4 when she was like, well, somebody has to save our skins. Pew, pew,
yeah, Leia's a badass.
Until C-3PO come and cox blocks them, then
ultimate cock blocker, man.
He made that.
You got to think about it in the movie context. I don't know the EU as well as you guys, but in the movie context, we know Leia grew up in a world of, like, you know, princess and diplomatic and this and that, and he is now throwing that to the side. And I don't respect you as a princess. I want you as a woman. Right. And she doesn't know how to react to like a man actually like being like that, not listening to her in the first place, and telling her open up. Like, he wants to be a better man for her, but he's also trying to teach her that you're allowed to feel the way you feel.
Right.
You know, it's a deeper thing than I think we actually notice, just watching the movie. When you really look at it, they're making each other better the way a couple should.
Yeah.
And in the EU, she never felt solely into the stereotypical factor of being a princess. I mean, there was things that they try to dress up as one, and she's always wanted to run free. She always used her best friend Winter as someone to take her place so she can kind of, get into mischief and stuff herself.
Mm-hmm.
So she was always a free spirit, I guess you can say. She always had that badassery free spirit in her life. Nice. And if you look at her mom was the same way.
Right. Which is really cool now that we have that context, like Abu Nas keeps saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Abu Nas, I got to apologize. I got to get going. I totally blanked. I have to work tomorrow. I have to be up at 3 a.m.
Sporking News, Scott, thank you so much for hanging out as long as you did.
It's an honor, Callous. We got to have you guys all on the fourth wave. I want to make an official apology to Lorena Creel. She was supposed to be on the fourth wave tonight, and I totally forgot to send her the link. That's on me. But I'm a man enough that I can admit my mistakes.
on live too.
Right. But I just want to say, like, Abu Nas, Callous, I watch you guys on the Dark Council all the time. OG, I've watched you rise. Like, your knowledge and the way you guys present yourselves, I respect it highly. And it's an honor to be able to be on the panel with you guys tonight. So I appreciate it.
The honor was definitely mine, man. I'll be so glad to have had you there.
And we'll have to have you back on the fourth wave, man.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right.
All right.
Callous too, and OG, you know it. Right. Everybody have a good night.
You too, brother.
Thank you very much. I'll see you all soon.
All right.
I'm not a ninja, but I'm out.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's down to 3. Well, we're gonna keep this going though. We still got a little bit more to cover, but yeah, between Han and Leia's romance and Luke getting the training, the plot thickens though. Knowing that Darth Sidious, called his apprentice, to have words with him, and for the special edition. I know there may be some OT purists that feel like, the person in the monkey chimp suit or what have you, that did the little voice and, that was the pure version of the Emperor, but it isn't. It's pretty much what we've been blessed with George cleaning that part up and giving us the image of the true villain in this saga, which is Darth Sidious, who calls himself the Emperor. But his true name is Darth Sidious. So he called Lord Vader and he told him, the young rebel who destroyed the Death Star, I have no doubt that this person is the offspring of Anakin Skywalker. And of course, he's sort of like, how is that possible? That's a powerful scene in so many ways, because this is the first time that Darth Sidious made a proclamation about, because Anakin never forgot who he was. He just pushed that shit to the background. Yeah. He wallowed in his misery and his self-hate. So he didn't want to be associated with that name, but he never forgot it. So now, when Darth Sidious tells him that this is the offspring of Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader didn't blink. He said, how is this possible? He followed suit. But in the mind, you could see the turmoil that now appeared, because number one, his whole point of turning to the dark side was to save his wife and save his child. And he felt like he was the one responsible for killing his wife and his child. So for Darth Sidious to tell him that this is the offspring of Anakin Skywalker means two things. One, he found out the lie. He found the lie out. You lied to me. You told me I was responsible for my wife, and it's not true. Because if I have a son that lived, that meant my wife was alive long enough to give birth to my child. So that's number two. But Darth Vader kept it cool. He kept listening. And he said he could destroy us. and he said he's just a boy. Obi-Wan, now he's following suit. Obi-Wan, because now he knows that this young man spoke to his former master and got training from him, just like he did when he was Anakin Skywalker. So he said, Obi-Wan, he's just a boy. Obi-Wan can no longer help him. He said the Force is strong with him. He could destroy us. The Darth Sidious already had the foreshadowing to see that possible future. So Anakin, or Darth Vader, said, you know what? If he could be turned, he could be a powerful ally. Yes, he will become a powerful asset. Can it be done? You know, the Darth Sidious way. Can it be done? He said he will join us or die, master. Made it seem like he told him that I'm still following suit, but in the back of his head, he had his own thing he was going to put down because he found out the lie. And this, I feel, this is the start of where the redemption begins. Before he even heard of the name, the offspring of Anakin Skywalker, that meant that in and of itself is a powerful thing to all that 19, 20 years of self-hate, self-pity, self-everything. Everything. Now, there's a glimmer. There's something that's sparked in there, in Anakin, in Darth Vader. But he kept following suit. But that's just my opinion. You know, that's what I got from watching that scene right there. But that's a powerful scene. I just couldn't even let that go by without even mentioning it.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely agree. It's a very powerful scene. I think that you have to go further back in the scene though to even better understand, because as soon as the admiral comes to tell him that the emperor has made contact and wants the emperor wants you to make contact, and Vader, without batting an eye, now he's chasing Han, Leia, and Chewie because he's trying to get to them to get to Luke. He knows Luke is his son. He already knows that, right? Yeah. So this scene is so powerful because as soon as the captain, the admiral, whoever it is, tells him that the emperor wants you to make contact, without batting an eye, he's like, "Get us the hell out of this asteroid field. Let's go." He calls off the chase instantly, and he has to go and speak with his master. Like, that's how powerful this man is, to make Vader just turn on a dime, right? Yeah. And then, so Vader's plan this entire time, as he suspects that Luke Skywalker knows that Luke Skywalker is his son. His plan right at this point is to turn his son to overthrow the Emperor. That's his plan all this whole time. So then when the Emperor, he's holding this in, he never explains this, obviously, to the Emperor. So now the Emperor has found out that, damn, he knows that Luke is out there. So now I have to figure out how to get him without him killing him, because he automatically wants to kill him, right? So how can I if he can be turned, right? If he could be turned, like, right? He could be turned, so this will save him, because my intention is for me and my son to kill you and take
for lying to me about you about you telling me I killed my wife.
Absolutely. So I mean, that's a whole scene in itself. Just the you could see the betrayal in the Sith. You could see the compassion that Vader had for his son. You could see the power that the Emperor has over Vader, who at this point, because this is the first time we're hearing of the Emperor, right? So at this point, Vader is the ultimate evil in the universe, in our Star Wars universe. Now, whoever this Emperor is made Vader turn on a dime and get, you know what I'm saying? So this tells us, oh shit, this guy's bad news.
And Callous Awesome has a great point. Asteroids don't concern me, Captain. But
exactly. Like, get us out of here. I gotta talk to my boss.
Yeah. I don't care how many people die. Just get this shit out of here, so I can talk to my boss.
You want to face him? Get us out of here.
Oh my God!
This
yes.
man makes black holes. Let's go.
Let's go, man.
Oh, damn, that's good stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, going past that, and obviously they got out of the asteroid field, and Han basically tells Leia, Leia, let's head over to see his friend. And I just love how they played back on each other behind it. I was like, what is it, the Lando system? No, Lando's not a system. He's a man, Lando Calrissian. Card player, gambler, scoundrel. You like him. She started smiling like, yeah, nice. But then they was on their way heading there, and Boba Fett was right behind them the whole damn time. I already knew something was going to go wrong behind that. I just didn't know how it was going to play out. But finally meeting Lando, another iconic character. Another iconic character that Disney fake Lucasfilm would just shit it all over. But we're not going to talk about those bastards. Like I said, now we're talking about the icon, Comes down there looking suave, debonair. Cloud City is fucking amazing. Even before and after the special edition. Special editions just enhanced it, but at the very least, they gave it more scenery. So by the time you actually on ground level with them, now you enjoying the whole view of what Lando has been doing all this time since he was a card gambling scoundrel. He's been pretty much like, I'm an administrator. I'm a boss.
He's
I got to
work.
work.
Cloud City.
A Baron of Cloud City. That's it. Exactly the original Baron. I had to take the place because they turned him into a soy walker. But I just love I guess the chemistry that him and Harrison Ford had. And then, of course, when he moved talking Leia and everything, he's like, okay, I got to get this guy.
What
with
have
my woman, man? He's about to steal away from me. Yeah. But it's just the whole thing in terms of, and the music of John Williams just added on to it as they walking through Cloud City and he's explaining what he's been doing. But that was the character I gravitated to right away, But unfortunately, I started hating this dude because, when he did the switch. But I guess in the context of what he was doing it for, because the Empire ambushed them. They came there first. And like, look, brother, let's get something straight. We taking over.
His intention was always to free Han, though. So he first of all, remember, he never knew he was going to put him in Carbonite.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to get him to Boba Fett. He knew where Boba Fett was parked. His intention was to get around and catch him at the hangar and free Han. So he never intended to betray Han and it just be what it was. Like, you take him and now you get the hell out of here. But Vader kept altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further, right?
I know, man. Had him looking all stupid like, huh? And we have another special guest that just popped in, the one and only, my vice president herself of the Abu Nas Rehabilitation Center, Mara Jade, aka Jade Shadow. How are you doing, my darling? You have a mic.
I'm good.
Oh, there you go.
My internet goes in and out. It's because of crap.
Oh, I got kicked out of my own live stream.
So I'm gonna say
yeah, I got kicked out of my own live stream, so you know how that goes. How you get
I'm living at home right now while I go to school to help, so my family can help take care of my dog. And the router itself is from when you had to go out and club your own food, like a caveman. That's how old this thing is. And Verizon won't come out until after the stay-at-home order is lifted, quote unquote. So whenever that is.
Well, we've already been ordered that we're gonna go all the way up to May 19th.
Yeah.
If our governor does that, there's already a protest scheduled in our capital for Wednesday. So if our governor does that,
just New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, they stay in sync, and we're just like I said, May 19th. School's out till May 19th at this point. It's crazy.
No, well, there's no more school for the year for us in Pennsylvania, so that's
you're in PA.
Yeah, I got a little spot out here. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I traveled back and forth to New York, but like I said, I had to make a move to New York because I couldn't afford to stay, where I was at. So I was like, okay. But luckily for me, my family's out there. So, but that when I got caught out there with this, I was like, oh, I was already home. So,
Yeah.
but they locked everything down, transportation, everything. So it is what it is. I just hate the fact that there's no school, but at least my youngest daughter is getting, the homeschooling, from the teachers and stuff through the tablets and stuff
Yeah,
like
Google
that.
Classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
they're
man.
getting all of that. So
Yeah.
it's still working. They're just doing it from home. So
Yeah.
keeping people off the street, and that's what it is. But Mara, yes, thank you for coming by and joining us. We just got well, actually, we're in the middle of discussing Lando Calrissian. And we just got to the part where pretty much he's he got people working with him, and he's welcoming Han, Leia, Chewie, and C-3PO, who got blasted into bits, and that gave us the tension filled, like, who the hell blasted C-3PO into a million pieces? And then Chewie finally finds him with the Ugnaughts, and getting ready to be melted down. So it's just comedy at its best. Just the fact he's trying to put C-3PO together, and it's like, you overgrown mophead. There's nobody stupid enough to he turned them the fuck off. It's like, okay, that's enough. And poor Han, man, he came in the way that they tortured them, man. It's like, this is like I said, this is the darker film from A New Hope.
Yeah.
They wasn't pulling no punches with this. And like I said, PG back in those days was almost like PG-13. They pushed the boundaries of that thing at that time. So I was really like, God damn, they just put them through the ringer. Well, they left Leia alone, but I'm just saying. But all of this was to, get Luke. You know what I'm saying?
that-
to come out.
That was what was so amazing about that, because at first when you're seeing it, the thought process is that he's torturing them because they are
Like they didn't shy away.
yeah, he's torturing them because of who they are. But in fact, it's not it. He's torturing them so that their turmoil, their energy is poured into the Force. Luke will sense that and come for his friends. Like that plan that Vader put together, like it just broadened my sort of respect, I guess, for the Force. Like that scene was just crazy. He's not after you at all. I mean, he's after somebody called Skywalker.
Skywalker. Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God, did we lose Mara Jade?
Yeah, it's probably
I
her.
think it's her internet too. She said it was going to be spotty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking look what happened to me. So
Yeah.
That's okay. Let's roll with the flow. We are here and we're doing this. Hello again. Yeah, and so on that too as well. Like, yeah, that's what made me respect the Force and gave me a broader sense and understanding why Luke was having that vision while he was training, because of the fact that Vader was torturing Han and he was sensing Leia because of basically. And I will just say that we didn't know that she was gonna be his twin, but basically, when you think about it now, he can even sense a little bit of that twin or from her as well, and. So all of that played well into that little aspect of how Vader lured Luke, and Yoda was trying to stop him, and so was Obi-Wan, saying, you may be seeing these visions, but if you go, you're gonna unravel or undo everything that they fought for.
That's right.
Will they die?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
He said, they said, always in motion
the future is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
And the way he just said, I gotta go. And Yoda just kind of frowned, like, he said, if you go, save them you could, but you would destroy all for which they have fought and suffered.
Yeah.
And that just like froze Luke like right there, man. That should have been enough to tell you, son, you're not ready yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that next scene, man, is just the fact that, he packing up his stuff and he's about to go, and Yoda's like, Luke, complete your training, don't go. And he said, they're my friends, I gotta help them, and he said, there's something about I don't want to let him die. And Obi-Wan finally appeared and he said, you don't know that. He said, I feel the Force, but he said, you can't control it. You cannot control it. This is a dangerous time for you, where you would be tempted by the dark side. It's just that whole scene was filled with foreboding. Like you
Mm-hmm.
want Luke to go there, but the way Obi-Wan and Yoda is sitting up there like telling him, dude, you are not ready for this. Oh, gee.
So much tension was built up from that scene that we don't hardly see today at all. We don't see that quiet moment of that speculation, of that tug of someone's conscience, thinking, should I go, should I stay, and the warning is we don't see that build up from all these like 80s, I guess you could say, classical movies now,
Right.
but all these classical movies from the past, we don't see that build up anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it was just amazing just how Luke was ready to give up everything just for the slightest opportunity to save his friends. Like that. That's powerful. That you know, he would forego all his training. He would risk, you know, the future, because you know, always in motion, and it's not even Yoda can see that, right? That Obi-Wan told him, and he would risk all of that just for the opportunity to try to save them, because there's nothing saying he was actually going to save them. So he was going to just throw that all away just to try to save them. And so how do you now, I don't want to go there.
Okay, I'm going to go here in a better comparison aspect is that this mimics his father wanting to use the dark side to save his wife. That he would go, no matter what, he would go through to save someone he loves.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. The
that's
love
deep.
aspect
Yeah,
brings people to the dark side. I'm just now realizing it.
You should have been. That's why every time you try to say you're a Jedi, I'm like, no, bro. We have too much passion to be Jedi. That's the first damn thing. Passion, bro. You have passion. You're Sith, bro.
Yeah,
You can't be Jedi. I mean,
I want you know.
And passion is just love.
Luke proves,
sorry, Mara.
Luke proves that attachment itself does not lead to the dark side. Because Luke had opportunities to join Vader, but he refused. He was strong against Vader. It's the obsession to the attachment that you have. It's like the passion, and you say it's the emphasis you place on whatever attachment you have. That's where I differ from the Jedi, where they say, like, you know, you can't have attachments. And I'm like, BS, you can have attachments. Luke proved it. You can have attachments.
And it's funny because if you look at it too, and I'm expanding on Mara's point here, is that Luke, in a sense, used his attachment to his friends to not go to the dark side.
Absolutely. And those are great points, because that's exactly what the foundation of his new order was. The fact that he thought attachments were fine. That he did not forbade his students from marriage or from relationships or anything like that because of that love. So that's a great point.
At the very least, I really emphasize with Luke just for the fact that he was willing to risk it, even though everybody said to the contrary. And he said, if you face Vader, you will do it alone. And I cannot help you. So he knew that going forward, he wasn't going to have the help of his mentor, you know, the help of his teacher. He was going to be all alone. And he still went anyway, you know. And I said, damn, you know, didn't even know in the context of it as you was watching it as a little kid what was going to happen. But you knew it was like, okay, well, he's going to save his friend, so I hope he's victorious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, as you can see, you know, when he finally gets the Bespin, and R2 was like, and it's like, no, 3PO's with them. Hang on, we'll be right there. I just these little moments I just love when he communicates with R2. You know, it's almost like speaking to a real person to him, you know? And 3PO's with him. Don't worry about it. We're on our way. So even R2 is sitting up here like, where's my friend? Is my friend there? I want, you know what I'm saying? I want to know what's going on with my friend. So now they get down to the nitty gritty. Han is getting ready to be thrown into the Carbonite because Boba Fett, you know, because he said, you know, if you put him in the Carbonite, it might kill him. Well, I'm not going to have the Emperor's prize damage. We tested on Solo. And Boba Fett was like, well, what if he dies? He's worth a lot to me. Well, shit, it was only a bounty. Shit, we got money. We'll compensate you. It ain't no problem. Just put him in. And Chewbacca just went ape shit, and Han trying to calm him down. Hey, the Chewie, this is not gonna help me. It's not gonna help me. The princess, you have to look after her now. So he looked at her. He's like, that's his boy. I'm gonna do what you said. And then that whole thing, the iconic kiss, and then the thing that Leia told him, I love you, and he said, I know. I'm going to my death. I'm going to probably die. You know, I'm never going to see you again.
You finally you love me.
Yeah, I mean that she basically poured the heart out in the purest way possible, and Han Solo, being the man that he is, I know, baby, I know.
Because that was him saying,
I'm going down. He's going down into the carbonite.
Harrison Ford ad-libbed that line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, he did. And the director,
I love you too. He's like, how can you say that?
Yeah. But they went back and forth with it, and then he told the director, was like, it doesn't feel right, and the director was like, yeah, you're right. So, just as you said, Mara, ad-lib, yeah, let's see what worked, and it worked. And now it was said that George Lucas didn't want that. He wanted him to say, and it was like, George, it's okay. It works. It really works. And then George was like, oh, all right, no problem. keep it moving. But it's one of those things where, yeah, just the ad-lib and it felt natural coming from the character that this man was, even in the face of his possible death, you know? And I said, wow, that the fantasy be damned, but I really felt that. So that was my thing in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. You know, anything on your end, OG? I mean, obviously, that's what we really did it for me. That sealed Han as the man, the go-to guy. Just hated the because I actually thought he was dead. But then when they said that he was, you know, he's still alive in perfect combination, and he said, okay, he's all yours, bounty hunter. Reset the chamber for Skywalker. So Skywalker landed, my lord. Good. Make sure he finds his way here. So I said to myself, holy shit, how are we gonna do that? And I love how they played it off with them walking Han and the Carbonite and Luke just sitting up there, and he's like, I don't know who they dragging out there. And it's like, it's Han, go rescue him. And it's like, he just stands there and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go about my business. And he sees Leia, and then the other guy looked back and was like, yeah, we got him. Then it's like, look, no, it's a trap.
I see Luke's maturity by now in this because he's more calm, collected, and cool. He's more stealthy, even though he has the worry of his friends on his mind and stuff. He's more calculated, and so I think that was brilliant playing through his growth arc between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back within the 3 years, 3 standard years, if you want to go into Star Wars technical terms.
Yeah, of course. Luke taught his new students how to deal with attachments and emotion rather than burying person.
That's right.
Yeah, that was the old way of doing things, brother. That was The Last Outlaws. Oh, my brother Zach. He said, question for the panel: love Revenge of the Sith. Hate to break the flow, but is Plagueis' power to save the ones he cared about inherently non-Sith? Sith
really.
care about themselves, not others, right? Love the scene.
Well, no, he didn't care about saving others or saving the ones he loved. He cared about extending his own life.
Yeah.
Palpatine used that to draw Anakin to the dark side, saying, hey, I know this secret. We can save your wife. But it wasn't about like saving the ones he loved. Anakin wanted to use it to save the ones he loved. Plagueis couldn't give any less of a damn about it.
He just worded it correctly to seduce him to the dark side.
Right.
Yeah.
That conversation, Lorena Creole said that conversation between Boba Fett and Vader about Han being put into Carbonite was gold. Yeah, man. It's like, yo, that's my money you fucking with, man. It's like, don't worry about it. We got billions of dollars, man. Shit. We could break down Jabba the Hutt and take his money and give it to you. Not a problem, man. You know? My nerdy home Stephanie says the kiss and I know classic moment and the most romantic thing I've seen. Yeah, that is romantic. And still, Renee Patrick said, and still couldn't say it back to her, that bastard. But that's Han Solo for you. I don't know what else to say. Shoot.
And that's basically when you go back to that I know part between Leia and Han. That's basically establishing their own romantic love talk. It's already establishing who they are as characters together.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
and it's used throughout the EU as teasers and stuff. And there's certain points that, like, even when he calls her, the committee, they even use that jokingly in Luke. And I think this is the Thrawn trilogy. Luke is like, one day I will find out what that really means.
Well, speaking of which, I know that the voice may have to bounce out. Yeah. So I just
only
wanted
had till 10 tonight. I gotta.
Yeah, and I'm getting ready to go into a segue because I'm trying to get everybody up close and personal with all these live streams and the episodes. So by the time I figured, let me just say my goodbyes and just salute you, man,
Absolutely.
for just
Thank you for
hanging
having me.
with us for as long as you did.
Yeah,
We're coming into the third act now, but
Yeah.
I kind of figured you'd probably be gone. But don't worry, brother. We got you in spirit. So
All right. Thank you for having me. Appreciate y'all. OG,
All right.
Lara, brother.
As always,
All
my
right.
pleasure.
yeah, God bless, man. See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Deuces.
Ladies and gentlemen, because we just heard Plagueis' name, I think it was more appropriate to finally go into what drove the Chosen One to the deepest well of hell. You want to join in that journey? Then come follow me right about now. Let's do it. But not yet. Not yet. No, not yet. That's
Just
not
kidding.
the one. I know, just kidding. This is it right here. This is the one that sealed the deal for the Chosen One. It's pretty much my favorite in every way, shape, and form. So let's go. Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3. The Clone Wars rage throughout the galaxy. Word got to on Anakin and Obi-Wan. The fighting found its way over the Coruscant. The Chancellor was kidnapped by the Separatists, led by the leader, General Grievous. They got in their starfighters, jumped to hyperspace, hoping to save the Chancellor before it's too late. 3 years of fighting made them both battle hard. Obi-Wan was stoic, but Anakin had scars. They got to the flagship, searched for Palpatine. They sensed the Dark Tyrannus was on the scene. They found them both and they pressed their attack. But Dark Tyrannus was good at fighting back. Obi-Wan was hurt and Anakin was stressed. Dark Tyrannus gave the young Jedi a test. He said you have hate and anger in your chest. Unleash it now or I'll put you to rest. Anakin's rage was something to see as he brought Dark Tyrannus down to his knees. The Chancellor was pleased as he told Anakin, use your powers and bring him to an end. Tyrannus was dead and Grievous is fled. The war is over once we have his head. Anakin returned to see the woman of his dream, Padme Amidala, his wife and queen. She said, my love, we're expecting a child. Anakin froze. He didn't even smile. He looked in her eyes and saw her concern, but this is something the Jedi must never learn. Grievous knew that he was the one left. Darth Sidious said, put you in the rest. My next apprentice is simply the best. The war will be over once he's on the set. Meanwhile, Anakin had another bad dream, one that had his wife crying and a baby scream. Woke up sweating like what is going on. Padme held him and said, baby, what's wrong? I had a dream you died in childbirth. I had many dreams, but this one truly hurts. She said, Anakin, I will be alright. Can Obi-Wan help? He said, not on your life. He then gets the call to see Palpatine. The Chancellor said, I need you on my team to be my representative to the Jedi. Make sure that they will always comply. Mace Windu said, you can have a seat, but you're not a master, so you can never speak. Anakin said, this ain't fair, hold your tongue, take your seat. There's a war to be won. The meeting was over, Anakin was pissed. Obi-Wan said, calm down, listen to this. We need you to spy on the Chancellor now. He's been in power too long, we don't know how. Anakin said, yeah, I can't believe you want me to do this when he's been good to me. I know it sucks for you to be a spy. You're doing it for the Republic and the Jedi. Palpatine invited Anakin to come out to the Opera House so they can figure out what Grievous' next move and where he could be. And then he told Anakin a little story of Dark Plagueis the Wise, Lord of the Sith, can bring people back from out the abyss. Anakin knew he couldn't resist. Could the Jedi learn this? No, only the Sith. Back at the Jedi Temple, here we go again. Once more, the Jedi is straight for the win. Obi-Wan heading over to the cargo track. General Grievous out where he's at. Yoda head to Kashyyyk and help the Wookiees make sure the Separatists never succeed. While all of this was going on, Palpatine revealed that he was Darth Sidious, that no one could feel. Anakin was shocked. I'm bringing you in. Darth Sidious said, hold on, my friend. My master was Darth Plagueis the Wise. He taught me the secret of eternal life. I can teach you the secret to save your wife. If the Jedi kills me, then she'll lose her life. The dark side of the Force is his to command. The entire Clone Wars was part of his plan to wipe out the whole order of the Jedi. Darth Bane's grand plan has now been realized. Most of the Jedi has lost their lives. Obi-Wan was the one that had survived. Yoda did too, as he headed back quick. Bail Organa picked them both up in his ship. Mace Windu defeated the Sith easily, disarming him as he begged, don't kill me. Anakin came and said, I need him alive. Mace Windu said, not this time, little guy. He controls the Senate and the courts too. There's no way in hell that we're ever gonna lose. Now comes the moment of truth. He must decide something that Anakin cannot deny. Will he stand up to be a great Jedi, or will he do what he must to keep his wife alive? Not even a choice for him to make. Chopped off Windu's hand, and that sealed his fate. Darth Sidious gave the killing blow as Mace Windu flew out the window. The Dark Lord saw Anakin on his knees, christened him Darth Vader. Rise and succeed. No one at the temple was left alive. Not even the younglings survived. Yoda and Obi-Wan now had to decide that both of the Sith Lords now gotta die. Obi-Wan told Padme he has to go. The dark side of the Force now holds his soul. Where did he go? She said, I don't know, but she went off to see him on the low. Found out the truth of how he behaved. Anakin then thought that he was betrayed. So added Obi-Wan behind on the stage. Then he flew into a deep black rage. Anakin rushed to kill Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan struck back, and then it was on. Yoda told the Sith Lord, your reign is done, and after this there shall be only one. Darth Sidious cracked a wide-ass smile, cause this was the fight he wanted for a while. Between the four men, the light and the dark threatened to tear the galaxy apart. Anakin, though, made a fatal mistake, one that Obi-Wan moved on with haste. He chopped off his leg and his remaining hand and left him burning, dying in the stand. Yoda fought hard but was forced to retreat. The dark side of the Force could not be beat. Obi-Wan took Padme and she gave birth to Luke and Leia, the salt of the earth. She passed away saying Anakin is still good, something that Obi-Wan never understood. Anakin once again cheated death. The dark side of the Force was all that was left of the beautiful gift that was the light, for he had believed he killed his own wife. Everything that was good he can't stand, as he was truly more machine than man. Yoda told Obi-Wan to take Luke back to Tatooine and teach him the truth. He told Bail Organa to bring Leia home to Alderaan until she's fully grown. The revenge of the Sith was finally complete, even though the New Hope on Tatooine was currently asleep. Yeah. See how sad that thing just ended? But never let it be said that there wasn't even that there was a glimmer of hope in all that madness. So we're gonna press on to episode 4, A New Hope. Ready to join me on that journey? So here we go. Go. Now, from darkness, coming back into light. Now we're going to see where it all started. And I didn't get to do this in my last one, but I'm gonna do it now, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, girl, you love that shit. A New Hope. Episode 4. This was the movie that changed it all. The blockade runner came through hyperspace. The Star Destroyer moved in with haste, trying to recover the Death Star plans that were stolen by Jen Erso and her band. They invaded the ship, wiped out the crew. All of a sudden, Darth Vader came through. Everyone bowed down for the Dark Lord. He walked with authority through the corridors. Princess Leia had to think real quick to get out of this jam before she took a hit. Before she got captured, she had an idea. Get the plans to someone who has no fear. She placed the plans into little R2, who escaped in the pond. There was nothing to lose. C-3PO was nervous as hell. R2 said, chill out, we will be well. Traveled through the desert, they was both all alone. Jawas ambushed them, they was all in their zone. Made a detour, took them to the Lars home. Had to get that money, that's how they roam. Owen Lars is a moisture farmer with no fear. Called out Luke Skywalker, now he appears. Get these droids cleaned up on the double, yeah you heard? I was going to Tashi Station, not another word. Luke was home cleaning up R2 when Princess Leia's message finally came through. The Empire's here and they're at our throats. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. Get the plans to my father, he'll know what to do. The message was over and Luke was confused. I don't know Obi-Wan, but I know old Ben. Hopefully he'll know what's up, maybe he's a friend. Ben told Luke that he was Obi-Wan, fought in the Clone Wars way before he was born. He said his father was a great Jedi Knight and a great friend who loved what was right. He was killed by a Sith Lord named Darth Vader, betrayed his father and he was a straight hater. Learn the ways of the Force to be like your dad. Luke said no, cause my uncle will be mad. Gotta get home before Uncle Owen goes berserk. When he got home, both of them was in the dirt. He had no one else. Now what could he do? Time to go back to Ben and roll with his crew. They got to Mos Eisley and ran into a dude. By the looks of him, he was too cool for school. His name was Han Solo. Chewbacca was his mate. Need a rider on the run, and there's no time to waste. The Empire arrived and they barely escaped. The Millennium Falcon jumped to hyperspace. Princess Leia was taking the Grand Moff Tarkin, the big man on campus, and he was steady barking. Tell me what I wanna know or your planet dies. She said, that to me. He said, say goodbye. She said, I told you everything. He said, well, I lied, like you didn't know that I'm one of the bad guys. The Death Star blew up Alderaan the bits, and back to the cell Princess Leia had to sit. The Falcon was picked up by a tractor beam to the Death Star where they had to come clean. But they was in disguise and they hatched a plan to rescue Princess Leia and be on the land. Ben Kenobi disabled the tractor beam. He was on his way back, and guess who he seen? Darth Vader chilling in the back. Lightsabers drawn, he was ready to attack. At last we meet. Now the circle is complete, and all that's left is to leave you in defeat. If you strike me down, my power is supreme. The Force will intervene and destroy all your dreams. The lightsaber battle was straight off the wall. Unfortunately, Obi-Wan had to fall. Our heroes got away as they flew the friendly skies. Got the princess to safety, now it's time to ride. Assemble the troops, no time to be cute. Get the fighters up, yo, it's time to race the roof. Flying to the Death Star, we in for a fight. The Force will be with us, cause we're in the right. Luke Skywalker was in Red 5. The voice of Obi-Wan said you will survive. Use the Force, let it guide your way. He blew up the Death Star and saved the day. The party was on the very next day. Medals for those who had the princess saved. Luke Skywalker was the hero to his name. Han Solo gained more respect and fame. Even though Darth Vader made his escape, at least for now, the galaxy was safer. Hold it down, down, down. Yeah, heroes, everybody. You gotta love them. So yes, now that we're finally caught up, yeah, so, you know, we're gonna bring it back down and get back to business. So now we come to the nitty gritty. Luke Skywalker finally faces Darth Vader.
Not to stop your flow, but you did. I don't know if you got Terminus Establishment's super chat at $5.
Oh my goodness, really? Oh,
I can't pull it up on my end, but I do have it on the screen here on my phone.
oh, you do? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, read it out to me. Because
Okay,
I can't, for some reason, I can't get it. So definitely got to apologize to my brother. Go ahead.
Okay, so thank you, Terminus. $5 chat. The space slug stomach scene. There's an awful lot of moisture in here, and then he puts, "That's what she said."
Thank you, brother, for that $5 super chat. That's the kind of joke I'm pretty much gonna have to steal from you at some point. So I'll give you credit for it, Terminus. Don't worry about it. But yeah, that whole thing with Barbara. You still here with us, honey?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'll start with you. Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader. Finally saw him. Gave him the little speech about, the Force is with you, but you are not a Jedi yet. Just literally taunting him right from the gate. Take me through that in your eyes. I mean, what did you get out of that?
Well, when I first saw it, I mean, I will say this. Actually, my favorite duel of the original trilogy is actually the one in Return of the Jedi between Vader and Luke. That's actually my favorite one.
Yeah.
But this one, you can see, we know obviously Luke isn't ready. We want him to win, but we know he isn't ready. And Vader just toys with him the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, basically just Vader. You think, it's kind of like a cat and mouse, where a cat will play with the mouse before it finishes it off.
Before he goes for the kill.
Yes, before he goes for the kill. But then our expectations are subverted. Spoiler alert, and this is
I really hate that word, expectations subverted. Just give me that creepy Johnson vibes, but it's necessary.
This movie, in two instances, proves how you do it well. First with Yoda, because we don't know what Yoda looks like. Luke is just told to go see him. So we're thinking, hey, he's got to be a Jedi Master like Obi-Wan Kenobi, because we're so used to primarily human characters. And then this little toad creature on Dagobah is the Grand Master. I'm not trying to diminish his role or anything like that, but that's oh wow, okay. And it just teaches you, don't judge a book by its cover. Okay.
Right. And don't judge somebody by your size. Yeah. As he told Luke. Judge me by my size.
You judge me by my size, do you? And it tells you that it's not about the individual themselves, but the power they have within them.
That's right.
And Yoda proved it. And then secondly is when Vader, you realize why Vader is not killing Luke in the first place, or why he's not killing him, and he's like, yes, I'm your father. Obi-Wan lied to you. What sort of situation? And it just shocked me. I was like 3.5 years old when I saw these movies for the first time. And I know I was about that age because I'm 4.5 years older than my one brother.
Right.
And when my mom was pregnant with him, they were deciding on names. They knew the sex. They were deciding on names. And I came home one day, and if anybody in the chat is named Adam, I have no problem with that name right now. But when I was 4 years old, apparently I did. So I come home from preschool, and they say, what do you think of this name? And I'm like, well, there are too many Adams in my school. I hate that name. I don't want to name my brother Adam. So to humor me, they were like, okay, so what would you want to name him? I said, Obi-Wan Kenobi. My brother's name is Ben.
Perfect.
Perfect. But it resonated with me. I'm 3.5 years old when I see this, and I'm like, I don't want to be a Disney princess. I want to be a Jedi. I want to wield a lightsaber.
Wow.
That to me was cooler than I've watched Disney cartoons, but I never really connected with the Disney princesses. I was like, I want to be a Jedi.
Yeah. That alone just told you these guys meant business. And I know, I could go through the whole mindset between them fighting. And a lot of it does piggyback off of you, Mara, that, Darth Vader was toying with him. He knew he wasn't ready. So he just tried to size up when he was doing the strike. That's why he was doing it one-handed at first, just to see where he was at. And then by the time as they kept going, he kept just talking to him. And I think that's one of those things about the Sith, that they need to keep talking to you to get in your head. and knowing that Luke wasn't ready to talk about Obi-Wan taught you well, you controlled your fear. And that he knew he was fearful. Even deep down inside, you controlling your fear. But you're still scared. I know that. So he used it. And obviously he's shown just why he was the more powerful of them when he pretty much used the Force to make the whole freaking room go crazy and took Luke out of the thing, and he's basically holding on to their life, probably thinking like, damn, Obi-Wan and Yoda did tell me, man, you're not ready. And there it was.
And then and in that scene, in that fight scene, like from the beginning where he gets him almost into the carbonite freeze chamber, and Luke uses the Force to jump out and clasp onto something to free himself. Basically during that time, Vader senses how strong Luke has become, and that not necessarily puts fear in him, but that's where he starts testing him. And then that one pivotal thing is the Force basically, and I'm paraphrasing, and when you guys probably get this quote right after I'm done saying it, but he's like, the Force is strong in you, but you're no Jedi yet. Right. Is what he tells him. And so he knows that he's increasing, and he is very amazed, astounded, all that. And he's like a sense of pride. So if you read the novelization and then further into the EU, he has that sense of pride in Luke in his development so far because he's so strong, and that's his offspring. And that's where we get him wanting to recruit him as well.
Even more. Okay. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
He doesn't want him dead either. So he's not going to do anything to, end his life unless Luke, does something to
obviously but it never gets to that point, because by the time he finally bring him down to his knees, don't make me destroy you. Obi-Wan, can't save you, and just the fear in Luke's eye, like it's really coming down to it. But he just kept on fighting. That's his resolve. But just Vader finally got the better of him and had him up there, and he just like, you don't, he's like, you have only discovered your power. And he said, join me, I can complete your training. He knows that's my son. The power of the Force just radiates from him, and it's just like, okay, well, obviously, he must think, one thing about Obi-Wan. So let me just try to test this knowledge that Obi-Wan never told you about your father. And then Luke told him, yeah, well, you bastard, you killed him, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, so that's what Obi-Wan told you? He didn't know if he even talked about Obi-Wan when it came to him. So just the fact that Obi-Wan did train him, it didn't equate to him. It's like, all right, well, how much does he really know about everybody's history? Well, now he gave them a history lesson. The iconic line, I am your father.
There's a comic book series. You don't need to read this to get anything out of this, like the OT, like the movies themselves are like just about perfection for like a trilogy. But the Vader series is a 5-story arc from 2015. Right. It actually takes place, the first issue takes place right after the events of A New Hope.
Okay.
So you discover how Vader finds out his son is alive. It's actually very interesting how it goes about, and I would really love, I don't want it to happen under Disney's control. I'd like to see it, at least with the reshuffling of Lucasfilm and everything. Yeah. But
we can only
I would like to see it adapted, because there's a scene in the first issue where Vader actually goes back to Tatooine and is talking to Jabba, and Jabba thinks he's like a big badass. Like I'm not scared of you. Like, your Force tricks don't work on me. Things like that. And like Vader's like, oh really? And Force chokes Jabba.
Oh wow.
So it's like to see that on screen, and then the middle issue, Vader down, where these rebels are surrounding Vader, and he's like, all I'm sensing is fear and dead men, or something like that. I'm just like seeing is fear and dead men.
Yeah, it is a
good arc. But in this arc, you see how Vader. I'm not going to go into how he discovers it, but he finds out his son is alive, and is at that point where he's like, I'm going to recruit my son. We're going to team up, and we're taking the Emperor down. That was Vader's plan. That's where he came up with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a great nod to like Leia basically ending Jabba's life as well. So
A Skywalker still killed him. Oh, wait a minute. Just got one of my brother doing his. Terminus, $2 super chat. The only one thing Ryan can subvert is these nuts.
yeah.
But yeah, the iconic line, "I am your father," that basically changed up the whole damn game. And just the shock on Luke's eyes, knowing, but through the Force, he felt that was the truth. And I think that's what really hurt him even more. That not so much that Obi-Wan didn't tell him what was really going on from the get-go, but you understand what I'm saying? But it's like, now I have to see this revelation that this horrible man that's like, he did all of this, and this is my father, and you made it seem like my father was a saint and a great guy. So it was a lot. It was pretty much on overload, and he just said, you know what, I can't handle this. And so he let himself go. He actually tried to kill himself behind that.
I mean, I kind of said this earlier in the stream, in the chat, where it's like, if you really think about it, like Obi-Wan Kenobi says from a certain point of view, but in a way he is telling the truth.
He is.
Because at the end of Revenge of the Sith, in that moment, both Anakin and Obi-Wan died. Those two, those namesakes cease to exist because Anakin becomes Vader. Obi-Wan, he can't go under that name, so he becomes Ben.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even realize that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just learned something.
And then that also goes, and I'll expand on what Mara said, is that when you get into the EU, that expands on why Luke still forgave him and still see him as his mentor and named his son after him. Yeah, so there's a lot deeper context. So, like the current lore, and I'm going to go there a little bit, wants us to believe that, Luke, like Ben was this liar, and, basically Luke was betrayed to become a Jedi. That's what some people believe, and it's not that way. No, it's not.
Where did he even get that? You know what? Why am I even asking?
Don't bother.
Trilogy. Yeah, exactly. No. But just the fact that he let himself go and thinking he was going to kill himself, but it didn't happen. And then he fell down, and then I guess he came to his senses and was just, now he's calling out to Leia through the Force. And being that at the time we didn't know. I mean, at 9 years old, when I saw that whole fight take place, my heart was like at the top of it was like at the top of my lungs right there. Just like I was like holding on to the seat, just in just awe and shock and just and genuine fear that, this was going to go sideways for the hero, and it still did, but it left a lasting impression on me visually as I saw that lightsaber fight, the sounds, there was really no music, towards the end. It was just the lightsabers clashing and the words, and you know what I'm saying? And I, like I said, literally blown away, but now Leia comes to the rescue. She, her and Lando got out of there, after they couldn't save Han from Boba Fett. So now it was just about just getting away. And while everything was all focusing on Luke, they got away in the Falcon, and then she heard Luke, and she turned that shit right back around.
Well, I like how Lando is like, like you want to go back? What's wrong?
Yeah. And Chewie telling him off.
And Chewie is like
back smack your ass.
Like,
but yeah,
that's my boy's girl. She says, "Go back." You go back.
You go back. That's right. That's exactly what that is. And then she finally got the Lando, opened the hatch, get him up there, fell down, and the TIE fighter swoop in, and it was just John Williams' music, man. Just really sells scenes that you don't even think can go anywhere, but the music sells it so hard. I was like, God damn, it's just the music itself gets you ramped up for everything that transpires ever since Luke got into the Falcon. They speed off into space, and they're still being pursued by a Star Destroyer, and the hyperdrive's still not working. C-3PO finally, got, his whole body almost put together, and he's still telling R2, "What are you doing, man? Come on, come fix me up." And R2 like, "Nope, I gotta save the day." Just doing what he does best, saving the day at the last critical moment. But Luke, once Darth Vader was on the Star Destroyer and he called out to him, Luke, Father. It was almost instantaneous. Father, son, come to me. Damn. How do you? That just hits me on the feels on so many levels. And then poor Luke was like, Ben, why didn't you tell me? And the music was like, dun, dun, like shit. Why did you tell him? Not you mad at Obi-Wan Kenobi? Why'd you tell him? But as it was, he said, Luke, it is your destiny. And being that we know how Luke's destiny truly, came about, this really brings out his character. The struggles that he had as a young man to get where that's one of the reasons why I can't forgive what the Disney people did to him behind that. Because we're revisiting things that in his youth, when he started, as he was training, the decisions that he made, the hurt that he felt, the human emotions that, even though he wasn't, quote unquote, a Jedi Knight as of yet, he felt a whole range of emotions, but at the same time, he resigned himself to just be in his feelings and say, you know what, I can't respond right now. Ben, why didn't you tell me? And he just left his head down in defeat, but yet he still kept his purpose. He didn't follow his father, even though a part of him probably wanted to, But that was my take on that, especially as he was moving away.
And on top of that, he still sensed the good in him, and that's why. This is the
even then at that point, I would have thought he would have been a little bit more
sensing the good in him. So he may not have sensed it like in their duel or anything, or it wasn't really elaborated on or expanded on. But from this point on, after he leaves Cloud City and stuff, is where he starts sensing the good in his father. And so we start coming into the hero's journey of the arc of him making that journey of redemption for his father now. So we're getting into the redemption clause right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was the spark when he found out the lie that it would begin. But then again, when he got to him and, because he was still hell bent on trying to turn him into the dark side, so him and the Emperor can go. So yeah, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, for Luke, it's the beginning arc now. But for Vader, he still has the intention of wanting to recruit him as his apprentice.
Got it.
And stuff. So he uses that, and when we come into the next movie, he starts using that against Vader to bring out Anakin to redeem him.
Right. Okay. See, I'm getting my education. I love it. Yep. And I finally get to the last scene because they do get away. R2 saves the day again. And poor Vader just I actually felt sorry. No, I ain't even actually felt sorry for Vader. I felt sorry for the guys that was in the background. It was like, oh, we got him, my lord. Yeah. Oh shit. We gonna get the promotions. We gonna have bitches. We gonna have whores. We gonna have everything, man. Yeah, man, we gonna do it. Yeah, well, get the tractor ready. Oh, I can't wait. Oh man, everybody getting promotions. Soon as they went to hyperspace, they looked at each other like, who's gonna get it? And Vader just kept walking past them. Everybody sitting up there like, he just walked away, and everybody looked at each other like, ooh, this job is stressful. Yep, this job is fucking stressful. Yeah, but Luke finally gets his metal hand, and the not the foreshadowing. It's almost like seeing his hand, just like when Anakin had to get his mechanical arm and hand. Luke is doing the same thing. The parallels. That's what I was trying to say. The parallels. Yeah, go ahead, Maura. I'm sorry.
Before the prequels came out, like this will go into episode 6 when we talk about it. But that's part of the reason why I love the duel is that when Luke cuts off Vader's hand and he sees it's robotic and he looks at his he's just like, oh my god, and it's like really connected him to his father. And there's like more to that scene that I love that I'm not going to go into details about.
Because we're not even at episode 6 yet. We're going to get there though. Don't worry, folks. We got one more to go. Yes. But the scene of his metal hand. Now he's becoming not so much what I get. No, but now the start of the physical aspect of what he saw in the cave when he fought Vader, and then the mask explodes and you see his face. That was supposed to be the lesson to don't go off half cocked. You know, the weapons, you did not need it and you used it anyway. You brought it with you and you failed. And this is what could happen should you not be vigilant and ready and smart to resist the pull of the dark side. You could be just like Vader. But now we see his metal hand as he does this, and in his mind, in his heart, his first thing is to get Han back, you know. And he saw Leia just, you know, feeling some type of way because he sensed from the Force how much she loved Han, you know. So he's willing to say, you know what, we got some unfinished business, but we have to get Han first. And I love how they ended the movie off with, okay, well, you know, you guys be safe. I'll see you on, I'll rendezvous with you guys on Tatooine. And he said, don't worry, Princess, we gonna find Han. So you know they're gonna be on a mission. Even though the movie ends on a down note where nobody won. They just basically just escaped from pretty much a fate worse than death on Luke's end. And who God knows what could have happened with Princess Leia had the Empire said, yo, bring her to the ship. Changed it up on Lando. What Lando? They could have killed him right there. You know? So it could have went so bad for our heroes. But even by them getting away, they didn't win nothing. They lost Han. Luke lost a hand. It's valuable lessons that was taught that even though we was too young to see it at that time, but we saw a movie that nobody won. But yet we was glad to see our heroes alive. OG, your thoughts on the ending?
Okay, so the ending, I loved it. Left it in a cliffhanger because it made you anticipate, like, are they going to find Han? What's going to happen? What are we going to see in the next one? And I guess you could say at my age, when I watched it in the drive-in theater, I pretty much understood it. It made me wanting to know more, and it made me very much invested for the rest of the series, for the last show. And I think that George Lucas and his team at the time did a really great job at creating such a suspenseful third movie in a trilogy. Just overall everything all the way through to the last one. And it was very melancholy when we see Luke and Leia and the droids looking out the medvac part of the ship, watching Lando fly out with the Millennium Falcon in search of finding or locating Boba Fett and finding out, you know, where he's going to be next. Yeah, Han. And so I like I said, I really liked how it was left on the cliffhanger because, you know, it really gets you into the next movie. It really anticipates for the next movie.
Yeah.
And I think it was brilliantly done. So
yeah, Mara J, your views on that final scene?
Well, I do agree that, like, you know, it's it kind of ends in a way on a down note, but them looking out the viewport is still has a like hope. Like still a feeling of hope because you know
that's true.
Yeah, the music that starts as well. So it's not like the end of the movie that shall not be named. The second one, where it's like, you know, it's like, oh, like, you know, like it's like we're you know, it ends on, like, you know, oh, we're stuck, no hope. Everything's lost, things like that. Yeah. At least with this movie, it's like it still has that feeling where it's like, yes, the heroes are beaten, but they're not down.
Yes.
So they're going to come back in the next movie. And like with any trilogy, the middle movie is essentially the darkest of the three. So just know, like it's like going into a tunnel. Right. Starts out light, ends dark, and then comes out light.
On the other end.
Yeah, Trailer's 95. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, sweetheart.
Well, like saying, like, you know, you still, like I said, you know, they're beaten, but they're not down. They're going to come back, and you really want to see how the last one, the sixth one, plays out because now it's the rebellion has to go head to head with the Empire again.
So.
Trailer 95 said Luke never really showed any anger except in 6, which is true. He's very much his mother's son. That is true. He is Padme through and through in terms of that. Gospel of quoting Mark with a C said, I love that after all they went through, it still ended on a hopeful note. Yeah. Even though nobody won, man. It's just like, God damn, what happened, you know? Ugh. Oh, Jeff Soul says, I look forward to TLJ because I thought we was gonna see a badass Luke training Rey and all our questions answered about 30 years, but it never happened. Never happened.
They gave it to a little man with daddy issues. That's
There you go.
Killing his nephew in his sleep. But yes, everybody, that's pretty much it, man. The how should we say, the most revered and most beloved film in the saga, knowing that Revenge of the Sith is right there with him. But for many years, many decades actually, there was no Star Wars movie that was touching Empire Strikes Back, and we just went through the whole spectrum of why this movie was pretty much on the God tier, you know, in terms of filmmaking, storytelling, cinematography, you know, musical score, plot wise, everything in that movie clicked on so many levels. As a 9-year-old, I walked out of that movie with my legs shaking because I was so overwhelmed by the sheer bombastic nature of how the entire movie played itself out. And it literally changed my thinking, my mind, opened up my imaginations forever, and it never stops. And that's the only reason why I still have it at the top spot, because of what it actually did for me on a personal level as a child. And OG, you know, your thoughts on how that movie impacted your life.
It just showed me that no matter what your circumstances are, that you will come out with your life, and you'll come out with stuff that you respect, and that how you handle the situation and how you perceive it will determine how you come out of that situation as well.
Yes.
And that was the mastermind behind Luke. Like I said, he's in the unknown realms of his hero journey right now. And so he's being tested, and if he stays within this faith and his demeanor and his morals, he will basically survive it. And that's how I see that.
Mara Jade, your overall thoughts?
Well, I think like just not just the movie, but the original trilogy as a whole. It was my first introduction to, like, yes, it does have elements of science to it, but it was my first introduction to fantasy, and the whole hero's journey and resonating with heroic archetypes and things like that, which is why I prefer that genre. Some of my generally top 3 I prefer. So I think like it really influenced like my interest going forward. And now, like I said, I wanted to be a Jedi before I wanted to be a Disney princess, even though I watched Disney cartoons. I was like, okay, well, you know, that's all fine and good, but I wanted to be the one wielding the sword and slaying the dragon. So I like started with Star Wars, got into Tolkien and all those works and things like that. Those like classic literature, Beowulf and things like that. So and I don't think I would have gotten into any of that if my parents, and my dad in particular, hadn't sat me down. It's like, oh, you like these Disney cartoons? Well, you're going to watch something that's actually like a.
Your dad was on point, sweetheart. That's for damn sure.
I sat down and watched the first one, and ended on that high note. The episode 4, and he's like, and I'm thinking like, that's it. He's like, oh, it's not it. And he puts on Empire Strikes Back, and then get immersed in that, and he goes, "There's one more." I still have my Ewok stuffed animal from years ago. It's like 34 years old now, because it's like I think from 1986. Yeah, I still have it.
Wow, Mark. Who would think that us women would be sitting here talking about Star Wars? Since the stereotype now is that women don't like Star Wars.
Yeah, that's a shock.
Well, it's not just like that stereotype, but like I love how they use like how the whole nerd fandom is primarily male, therefore it's sexist. And I'm sitting here thinking like I know that. Like you're not like I know there's not a lot of women, but I don't care because whenever you're basically talking pop culture or anything nerd, you don't care who you're talking with. You just care about the topic.
Right.
Exactly.
Thomas
And that's
says-
same with the character arcs as well. You know, the characters we care about, we're invested about the character and what's going on with them, not their gender or their whatever. But but I digress.
Well, like we connect with the characters because that they emulate human nature, and they're not perfect, and we're not perfect, and so I don't want a character that's like Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way. I want someone like where I did resonate with Luke because, in a way, because I wanted to see the world at some point. I wanted to get out of the little suburbia I was living in. So, and it didn't matter to me that he was a white male. Just what mattered to me was I resonated with him on that level.
That's right.
Thomas and when I failed, I'm thinking like, oh, if he failed as well.
Yeah, so. I just wanted to make mention. Tommy says, "Thank you for being here. Please do not." I have not even said that the entire time. To just hit that like button.
You weren't here most of the time, though. No,
yes, thank you. My internet told me to go fuck myself, and that's exactly what happened and what I did. But once again, look who came to the rescue. Matt G with the $5 super chat. When I see the duel in episode 5 now, I do think of Anakin versus Dooku, Ahsoka, various others, and flashbacks to Anakin's past. To this point, Luke has no idea. You know what? I'm not even going to lie. When I do watch the older movies, the OT movies now, that does come into play. You know, in my head, as I'm watching this, I'm like, playing in my head the history, like pieces and bits of scenes of Anakin when he was younger and, he was heroic, him and Obi-Wan during the good days and when they was fighting the forces of evil, themselves. And just Anakin's whole story is a tragedy because he was set up to do so many good things. And you see all the good that he did when he was in the Clone Wars and such and so forth in the movies. But now in seeing episode 5 where he's fighting his own son that he just found out is alive from a lie that was told to him that he killed his own wife and child that made him go into the dark side of the Force in the first place. Now he's fighting his own son to try to convince him to kill somebody else so they can rule the galaxy. So it's almost like he's not really learning from anything. I think he's just more reacting. But then again, the seeds of his redemption is there. He just got caught up in what, the anger now he's directing towards his master to get that help that he could, succeed in that. But yeah, I anytime I'm watching the OT, that's what I'm getting. But that's another reason why, the OT is masterful in every way, and this movie definitely proves that in every aspect. So, all right, we got 22 people in the chat. We're finally going to close everything up, and I want to let my beloved VP have some final words before I take everybody out, and tell us who you are and where can we find you.
Final words on the original trilogy. While I would say, admit that this was probably the best of the 3 in terms of production and story. My favorite of the 3 is A New Hope, because without A New Hope, we wouldn't have Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So that's my favorite of the 3. As far as where you can find me on YouTube. I have my own channel. It's Jade Shadow in parentheses underneath my name. That's how you can find me. Where I'm sort of now focusing more on DC and other social commentary, but you can find me sometimes on live streams talking about Star Wars, because I do like to talk about the good Star Wars, such as the original trilogy, the prequels, and the EU. I do jump on the EU book club stream. I have no idea when the next one is, but that book club is doing Kenobi.
Gotta talk to Mr. Lethal. Mr. Do my live streams, and I dare YouTube to take me down, and they take him down, and he's so proud of it. Shout out to Lethal Lightning.
Can you harass him with like the fact that whenever he's on our weekly live stream, it doesn't get taken down because I'm there to keep him in check.
And you're doing a great job of that too, so don't let him take control.
Doesn't get taken down. We do have weekly live streams. It's called the Nerdy and the Lethal. We didn't do it tonight because I didn't want to overlap with your live stream, but we'll come back next weekend. And yeah, and you can also find me on Twitter, OG Mara Jade. I'm sort of being on my best behavior.
I just realized I got 2 OGs in my chat. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
I'm essentially being on my best behavior now because I did do a stint for 7 days in Twitter jail because I called a man a thought and he didn't.
Holy shit, he was that sensitive? He was that sensitive you called him a thought?
I don't know. But that's where I learned that a man can call a woman a hoe and not get in trouble.
I remember that. Oh my god, yes.
But,
I love this guy.
But I'm being on my best behavior, but I still do hand SJWs and feminists their proverbial asses on Twitter occasionally.
Good.
So that's where you can find me primarily.
Alrighty. And to my partner in crime, which, as she always tells me in other live streams, you need me here, Abu, because I keep you organized and I keep you, like I said, I bow to the queen. So
Yeah, and by the way, you do have a super chat, so let's go ahead and take care of it.
holy shit. See? I can't do nothing without this woman. And once again, let's do it. RC from NYC, $5 super chat. What's up, everyone? Hope all of you and yours is blessed and have a safe weekend. Thank you, my brother. Hopefully you are doing well hopefully you're doing okay as well. And thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Where have you been, man? It's over. The party's over. Well, you're actually still on time for one more great round from the president. But yeah, man, we getting ready to bounce out, man. We've been here for 2 hours and 45 minutes, man. We holding it down, man. It was so much fun. Well, that's what the playback is for, so we're going to keep it public for a little while. My beloved OG Star Wars, let people know. Just give me your final thoughts and where they can find you.
All right, so overall, the OT has been the trilogy that I grew up on first, and I like Return of the Jedi. Even though, A New Hope is basically what Mara Jade said, and I do agree that it's the beginning of the Star Wars in general, and it used to be Star Wars, not A New Hope. But I like the end result of where Luke is taken, and we see him finally as a Jedi, and we see that story and that conclusion come. And then that's what brought me into the EU, because I wanted to learn more about Luke Skywalker. And so that's why I love it so much, is that you get to finally see his full hero's journey in the whole entire trilogy. And so I just love it. And my favorite scene, and I can't wait to talk about it, I'm just going to share right now.
You're going to be on the panel next time.
I'm just going to share it anyways, and I'll share it again.
All right, no problem.
Don't interrupt my flow. No. And is when Luke is going into Jabba's palace. The command that he and how much he's matured between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And the perfect, and for those who love the EU or haven't gotten the EU yet, I will shout this out as well. The perfect novel and basically multimedia is Shadows of the Empire to get involved. If you want to know how Luke furthers his training, how he builds his lightsaber, all of that, that's a great segue between the two movies. So you can find me on Twitter, OG Star Wars AB. You can find me here on YouTube, OG Star Wars, and also on Toxic Femininity. And once a month on Babed and Menace, and with the Queens as well. I will bring you predominantly the EU original lore, George Lucas era of Star Wars. So if that's your cup of tea and that's where your heart stays at, come follow me and enjoy the content. Thank you so much, Abu Nas, for having this and having me here as well.
Thank you for joining us. And like I said, you've been a Star Wars panelist for basically everything except Phantom Menace. You wasn't here for the first one.
Yeah, I was in.
Yeah, you was not here for the first one, but you've been here ever since. So it's just my absolute pleasure to have you here, basically, just helping me when I guess I stutter on certain things, especially when the law aspect is, and like I said, your knowledge, your wisdom, and understanding on all these topics that connect the connective tissues. That's why, you and Mara and a lot of the other queens are like I said, like, you're our backbone. You're pretty much, know certain things that we sometimes we come off on the cuff. Y'all bring it back with, with details, with the connective tissue, and put all of this together. So I couldn't have done a lot of good things with this live stream without you, OG. So thank you. And we got Terminus with the $2 super chat. Abuha Lord Nas. I like a Lord Nas. It sounds sexy. Yeah. Okay. Terminus $2. You're singing our theme song. Can't you wait until the Dark Council before we do all of that? But thank you for the $2 super chat, brother. Thank you.
So I got a super chat out of that.
I know he did. He made it known though. But you know what? It's better than the Fatal Nas. That whole thing with the ABC. I was like, oh my god.
That was classic.
I know for y'all. I was like, what the hell is this? No. I said, my God, man, just turn that off. All right, it was funny for like a day or two, and I'm like, gotta get rid of that. My goodness. Anyway, but thank you for everybody that's been here for the duration. Lorena, Becky, Tommy. Salute to you, brother, for the modding that you did all the entire time. God bless you, brother. You are what we call the king of mods. TT, oh man, Solar Sass, everybody, Renee, Trailer, Lorena Creole, who else? Solar Assassin, Ballet Dancer, Jeff Soul. I can't even get the Absent Minded. Oh my goodness, Peter Calabucci, Tracy. I haven't seen Tracy in a while. Thank you, baby, for coming through. Terminus. Oh, who else? Soul Assassin, I think I mentioned them. Yeah, so, and we had a lot of other people grace our show. But yes, we're finally coming to an end. Oh, here we go. Jar Jar Binks lurking in the house. That's right, Jar Jar. A stream wouldn't be complete without our favorite guy coming on through. Comic Book Bob. Missed it. No, Comic Book Bob. The playback is there, brother. And trust me, you're going to enjoy it. Got music, everything all around. And like I said, I'm about to take everybody out the right way. Finally caught up with all the episodes. And now, before we leave, I'm going to give you the summary of episode 5. The Empire Strikes Back. And buddy, you're going to love this because I damn sure did. That's for damn sure. So let's go. All right now. Ooh. I don't know why. This particular melody, it just screams Malakati to me. I don't know, but I love it. And I'm gonna blaze. The Empire Strikes Back, Episode 5. The rebels blew up the Death Star and survived. But now, all of a sudden, they're running for their lives. The Empire is coming and now they must hide. The planet of Hoth was remote and so cold. A place where no one thought that they would even go. Commander Luke Skywalker was on patrol. A warrant was... Oh! Break it up. I messed up. I gotta start over. Why? Y'all know. Come on. Let's do it right now. I get so turned on by the music, the melodies, gets me into a zone, man. Sometimes the president can mess up too, But come on. Let's get into the mood. Let's do it. The Empire Strikes Back, Episode 5. The rebels blew up the Death Star and survived. But now, all of a sudden, they're running for their lives. The Empire's coming, and now they must hide. The planet of Hoth was remote and so cold. A place where no one thought that they would even go. Commander Luke Skywalker was on patrol. A Wampa ambushed him and threw him in the hole. The Force was with him as he made his escape. Lost in the snowstorm, and what would be his fate? The ghost of Obi-Wan told him to go leave, travel to Dagobah, and learn what he needs from the Jedi Master who taught him what he knew. It was time for young Luke to now go to school. Han Solo still had that price on his head. He had to find a way to pay or he'll be dead. Princess Leia wanted him to stay and said he's a natural leader and should be at the head. Han said, no, I have to go make this bed. Otherwise the sharks I will be fed. The Empire found him, it's time to go to war. Luke Skywalker was the first that heard the call. Darth Vader came through the building with the squad, bringing death to anyone that was involved. That was quickly overwhelmed, so they had to escape. Han Solo knew it was no time to waste. He grabbed Leia, Chewie, and C-3PO, flew off in the Falcon with nowhere to go. Luke grabbed R2 and flew the X-Wing off to Dagobah to find this new thing. The TIE fighters gave chase throughout the asteroids. The Falcon was too fast and they all got destroyed. Luke finally found the one that he sought, Jedi Master Yoda, who's strong in the Force. Darth Sidious gave his apprentice the news. A new enemy has finally came through. The offspring of the Jedi Knight Anakin. He could destroy us, so he must not win. Darth Vader said, then I will convert him then to the dark side of the Force. The knee he will bend. Leia and Han found true love at last. Flew to Bespin to see a man from his past. His name was Lando Calrissian. Gambler scoundrel, who's Han's friend. There was only here to chip the hyperdrive, and once it was fixed, it's time for them to fly. Little did they know the Empire had arrived way before they came and was waiting inside. Made a deal with Lando, but that's a lie. Betrayed them quick and made them wait on the side. Luke's training in the Force was long and hard. The dark side of the Force, you must be on guard. There is no try, you will do or do not. That's how a real Jedi rocks that spot. Luke sensed that Han and Leia was in pain. I must help the Master or I won't be the same. Yoda told Luke, no, here you must remain. If you leave now, the sacrifice will be in vain. I can feel the Force, but you cannot control it. Obi-Wan's goes to him, and yeah, you know this. If you face Darth Vader, you will do it alone. Your life and your destiny you now will own. Obi-Wan told Yoda that boy's our last hope. There is another, it's not the end of the road. Darth Vader gave Han to the born Boba Fett in Carbonite to collect on his debt. Lando and Leia had tried to intercept, to try to rescue Han, but they failed the test. But now they had to leave to save their own necks. They flew off in the Falcon, but no time to rest. Luke faced Darth Vader, now it begins. The lightsaber battle to bring it to an end. He fought hard, got scarred, and then it got harder. When Darth Vader said that he was Luke's father, he couldn't believe it, but in the Force it's true. Beaten and humbled, there was nothing he can do. He let himself go and let death have his way. But not today, as Princess Leia saved the save. Darth Vader called out Luke through the Force. Luke responded, but he was still so lost. Why didn't you tell me, Ben, through the Force? No response, he felt even more now lost. Lando and Chewie punched in the hyperdrive. They all got away and they all had survived. Luke got a new hand and a new plan to go and save Han and rejoin the band. Lando and Chewie flew off in the Falcon again. The rebel fleet flew off towards Star's End. So basically, this is episode 5. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with us on this OT Appreciation live stream. My name is Abu Nas, the president of Abu Nas Rehabilitation Center. I am with my vice president, Mara Jade, aka Jay Shadow, and the one and only OG Star Wars, the Legends Gal. God bless. Good night. Thank you for coming through. Smash that like button when you leave. And remember, always be good to yourself and be good to others. Peace.